7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
The Savachi syndrome, I'm telling you, I'm like, well, holy shit, that was crazy. Wait for it. Thick and slick. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Moto Aftermath Show, episode number 177. We are cruising towards 200 here. We are going to wrap up some Unadilla here. We are going to get friend of the show, Scott Meshey, on the phone here to chat with him. As you can see, I'm in studio solo. Justin was supposed to be here. He had some stuff he was doing today, ended up taking longer than he anticipated, so here we are. We're doing it by ourselves. No big deal, but probably a bit of a shorter show this week than normal because obviously I'm just spitballing by myself. So before we get going, let's thank let's talk sponsors here. So first off, presenting sponsors. First up, Premier Custom Trailers. I'm getting really excited. My trailer should be here any day now. So I'm super excited to get that and get rolling with it. Do you need a trailer? Commercial or residential? Premier Custom Trailers has what you need. They work with the best manufacturers in the industry and specialize in all your trailer needs. Sales, service, parts, or rentals, they do it all. PremierCustomTrailers.com. Located 5 minutes south of Kalamazoo on US 131 in Schoolcraft, Michigan. They put the custom in customer service. Also want to thank TLR Coatings, as you can see on the banner because Justin's not here blocking it. Custom powder coating, Cerakoting, sandblasting, vapor blasting. They can do all that for you. Make sure to check them out on all the major social media, aka Facebook and Instagram. You can see what we're up to all the time. Lots of cool projects coming through there. Lots of cool colors. TLRcoatings.com. Look them up. They do shipping. We can ship your parts, get them coated for you, no matter where you are in the States. Also on board with us, new sponsor starting literally just this week. I have not even got the read for... Oh, wait. Other presenting sponsor. Gosh, I am so out of it here. Other presenting sponsor, BC.Pizza. Gourmet pizzas and junk. They have a full menu, so if you're in the Allegan, Plainwell, Kalamazoo area, and then they have some other locations throughout Michigan, and I think one or two in Georgia. I can never remember. Justin hasn't given me a read. Check them out. BC.Pizza to check out the website, so make sure to do that. Now, new sponsor on board with us this week, Complete Racing Solutions. If you are here, this is Coach Rob's company, in case you didn't know. If you haven't checked them out already, make sure to check them out. They can help you with any sort of workout / riding, routine, schedule, training stuff for motocross to really get you up and going on the bike and make sure that you have the flexibility, the fitness, etc. to handle that big 450 motorcycle. Because let's face it, no one really has that ability other than the pros. So Complete Racing Solutions, make sure to check them out. CompleteRacingSolutions.com, or you can follow them on Instagram. All sorts of cool stuff popping up there all the time. Also want to thank JT Cycles, the Dirt Bike Depot. They're both on with us too. The Dirt-Bike-Depot.com. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. Always like getting feedback from you guys. Always like getting in there and doing a little bantering back and forth in the comments. Make sure to follow us on all the major social media networks, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're all over the place on all of those. If you want to listen instead of watch, if you just found us on YouTube, we also have the podcast version. We're on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, so you can check us out there. And make sure to check out the new fantasy podcast where we talk fantasy motocross. We play on PulpMX Fantasy. Sorry we didn't do one this week. We had some major storms roll through. I had zero power for 3 days. I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything. I was kind of sitting around with my thumb up my ass. So sorry for that not coming out. We were trying, but just didn't happen. Basically, I didn't have any internet, even when like I had power I could have recorded, but I did not have power to run the internet to be able to upload the show from my computer. So we live in the country, we have satellite internet, we have to do some routers and shit like that to get it to go. Anyway, we were out of internet basically for that kind of stuff. So we will be back next week with the show, and obviously we have this show coming out now. So without further ado here, stupid bug. Let me get on the phone here, and I know this is great radio. Let me get friend of the show, privateer hero, Scott Meshey, up and going. Maybe we'll try to cold call some people later too. All right, let's call him here. Voice call. Cool. Let's see how this works. 6 o'clock, right? Yes, it is. Sweet. Hopefully it doesn't cool guy us here.
Hello.
Yo, Scott, what is up? Welcome to the Moto Aftermath Show, bud.
Hey, Travis. Thanks for having me, man. How are you guys this evening?
Well, you guys is a relative term because that would be me, myself, and I. My co-host bailed out last second here, so I'm...
all right, man. I gotcha.
I was going to say, luckily I have you on, so I have someone to talk to for a little bit here, and then I'm going to do a solo monologue after that, and we'll see how that goes because I haven't had to do that in a long time.
Listen, man, I believe in you.
You know, first couple of years, it was a little sketchy having him on all the time, and so there was lots I did back then by myself, and I mean, it worked out okay, so I'm sure I'll make this happen. But anyway, we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you right now, sir. And pretty decent year, privateer hero, floating around this crazy country in your van right now, racing pro motocross, living the dream. So, I want to start with, I want the best road story you've got so far this year.
Oh, man. Well, actually, you know what? I'm a little embarrassed to admit this one, but it actually was the start to my year in professional racing. So, this year was my rookie year for Supercross.
Okay.
And now, really being mindful, so like my brothers and stuff, they're all into cars, and obviously, you know, all my experience with working on dirt bikes and stuff, I know how to take care of vehicles for the most part. So I was driving up to Indianapolis. I had my buddy Sater, who has Clutch Media Films, who does all the videoing for my YouTube channel, the Privateer Path. And, you know, we were heading up the road, and, you know, we were pumped because this was his first time really, you know, going and seeing something like that and being a part of, you know, a crew for Supercross. And, you know, I was pumped because I was like, man, like I'm feeling good. You know, I had to start the season a little later because I couldn't get my bikes in time. But I was like, you know, I feel optimistic. And, you know, it's always those times where you feel like super optimistic and you like got the jams going and you're feeling good. And man, no lie, I think our first stop, I can't remember if we were stopping to get breakfast or gas, and we pulled. I think we were stopping to get breakfast, and I stepped on the brakes, and instantly the brakes started grinding, and we had to, and this was no lie. This was in Ocala, Florida, so this was not even 45 minutes into our 14.5-hour trip. And I was like, oh my gosh. And honestly, me being me, like I'm a pretty timely person, but I didn't leave myself time for, you know, having to stop for a long amount of time if something like that happened. Mm-hmm. And so we actually had to drive up the road, and we had to be like super duper careful because obviously the brakes were, you know, down to metal on metal. And the whole time, I mean, it wasn't funny then, but it's kind of funny now because the whole time we were just like, oh my gosh, man, this is just so brutal.
That's awesome.
Because we were like trying to, you know, and, you know, obviously, you know, really living the privateer, you know, life. And I'm a full-time college student. And I'm like, man, like, you know, I'm like, where the heck am I? Because I already know every time I step on the brakes, I'm like, man, this is just going to get more and more and more expensive every single time I touch the brakes. But I got to get to Indianapolis. You know, and I'm like, Oh my gosh, dude, this just sucks. And it got to the point where you can't do anything but kind of laugh a little. And we would, you know, obviously just be super cautious about ever having to use a brake. So every time you did, you just hear that. I was like, oh my gosh, dude. And we made it. I mean, we made it. By the time I got to the shop, I had to do, you know, pads, rotors. I had messed up the calipers. And I have an old van. I have a 98 Ford club wagon. So
Yes.
there was, I forget, I think it was like the drums or something that had to be replaced. So by the time it was all said and done, it was like $1,000 or $1,100, which pretty much took, like you have that little bit of a safety net in case, anything happens. And that pretty much took that and just depleted all of it. And I was like, oh my gosh, man. So honestly, I mean, listen, like I said, it wasn't funny then, but it's kind of funny now because I'm like, oh my gosh, like what a start to my Supercross season and the year for racing. And I was like, oh my gosh, man, this, like, it can't possibly get worse.
I mean, that's an epic story. Cause it's like, I'm sure you had everything else so prepped and ready, like bike prep,
Dialed. Absolutely
everything
dialed.
And then you step on the brakes and you're like, fuck, there we go. The one thing I didn't think about.
Listen, and it's not like there was any warning signs or anything. Like, dude, like, I made sure to take the thing to the shop and get the thing checked over, all the fluids are flushed, new tires, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And I don't know if just that kind of got looked over or what it was, but I'm like, and what sucked it was that it was at the beginning of the trip. It wasn't even like I had gotten to Indianapolis and I like went to pull into the Airbnb and I did it. That would be one thing. I would be like, well, at least I made it there. But no, man. It started right at the beginning, right at the beginning of the trip. I just remember Sater and I looking at each other like, what was that?
Oh man, that's awesome. That is the perfect start to a road story. So
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, either that one or losing my wallet at Millville this year and driving out. Oh yeah, yeah, that was another good one. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't imagine. Like, luckily, knock on wood, I've been very good at keeping track of that, but that's always a fear I have. So I mean, I don't know what's worse nowadays: losing your wallet or losing your phone, because the wallet. It's like I don't usually keep a lot of cash on me. I know the few cards I've got, so it's like I could cancel very easily and get new credit cards and get new, health insurance and that kind of shit. The phone, though, if that goes away, I don't.
Listen,
I don't know.
In today's age, that's like crippling. That's like crippling. You use your phone, that's crippling. I mean, for me, like, I even like, using like Apple Pay. So I have my cards on my phone.
Oh yeah.
So thankfully, losing my wallet, I still had access to my cards. But obviously I didn't have my driver's license. I learned very fast not to keep your Social Security card in your wallet. So word of the wise, if you've never lost your Social Security card, don't keep it in your wallet because that's a great way to lose it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, thankfully I have all the stuff in place to like make sure that nobody's doing anything funny. I'm hoping that somebody just took the cash and threw the wallet away, or it's like, I don't know, in a bush somewhere, like lost forever, but nobody's touched anything. So,
I mean, to be honest, it's probably lost in the van somewhere. Like,
honestly, man, I searched through the thing thoroughly. I ripped it apart. And I couldn't find it because that's what, for the longest time, I'm like, my mom was like, she's like, it has to be in here. It has to be in the van. And I'm like, I'm telling you, I ripped this thing apart. It's not here. It's one of those things where, you're going to, by the time you get everything replaced, everything all put back together and everything's all nice and you're back in the swing of things and it just pops out of nowhere and you're like, oh,
exactly.
Well, I don't need it now.
Exactly. And speaking of your mom, she's a wonderful lady. I met her at Redbud.
Oh, yeah,
she's a wonderful
awesome,
lady.
Yeah, she's awesome. She has she's been really my number one supporter my entire career, and I say that with absolutely zero hesitation.
Yep.
She's the mom, the dad, the psychiatrist, the coach. The rock when I need her, and she's a motivator too. I mean. She's the first one to tell me that I'm riding like a sissy if I'm riding like a sissy, and I really mean that. I mean, she will be the first one where I will come off the track and she'll come back to the pit and pretty much tell me, you need to get your shit together and you need to do it now. So, she's a badass lady. That's for sure. obviously I couldn't do what I do without her, and obviously it wouldn't be the same without her. I'm very, very fortunate to have her around. I mean, she, honestly, and she really is the full 100% moto mom. And, even just down to when she's cheering along the fences and people are like, oh, like, who are you cheering for? And she's like, oh, my son, blah, blah, blah. He has a YouTube. You should subscribe. Like she does it all. She does the marketing too. She does the word of mouth marketing. Like,
that's awesome.
It just doesn't get any more awesome.
Yep. Those are the best, man. My mom's pretty similar. Like, I own a powder coating shop, and she is always telling people like that she works with or whatever, like, oh, hey, yeah, if you need your wheels done or something, my son, he's the one to do it. And I'm like, oh, thanks, Mom.
There you go.
Yep. So
there you go, man. Drumming up business for you.
Exactly. I mean, we run off word of mouth basically here because I don't do any of that. I've dabbled a little bit in like the Facebook and Instagram stuff, but I mean, it's primarily just people finding us on the website or something like that. So that's honestly the best way, because when everything goes crazy, you'll still have customers at that point. So
yep, and that's the truth. Yes, sir.
Yep. So you said it was your rookie. Is this like your rookie year of Supercross, but you've raced outdoors before? I'm sorry. I guess I try to keep up with every privateer I can, but there's a lot of you, and I'm trying to keep track of so much crap. It's like I can't keep track of every dude that races. So pardon my ignorance.
Man.
But
I get it.
Is it rookie year outdoors too, or is it just rookie year Supercross and you raced outdoors like last year or something?
So this is actually just my rookie year for Supercross.
Okay.
I was supposed to race Supercross in 2019. I trained for about a month before, and the week that I was supposed to race, I actually dislocated my shoulder, had a massive shoulder injury. Like I tore the labrum. I actually hit my shoulder to the ground so hard that it dented my humerus in, like I dent the cap in,
Jesus
and I
Christ.
cracked it. I cracked it a third of the way down my arm. And so I had to have really extensive surgery on it. I mean, I was supposed to be under the knife for like an hour and 45 minutes, and I was in there for, I think, over 3 hours, just over 3 hours, he said. So, so my Supercross efforts were pretty much gone at that point. And I decided to dabble a little bit in the outdoor rounds in 19 in the 250 class. I just raced a few of them just to get a little bit of experience. I made half of the main events that I entered into, I believe, just as a way to get some experience, just to be able to see what it's like. Obviously, going into it, it's that, honestly, I would say, I'm partly grateful and partly like, why the heck did you do that? Because, I definitely was not anywhere near 100%. I was pretty much racing before I was ever even released to ride. So it was really not smart to do it in that sense. And, I had a couple instances where my whole entire arm would go numb because I would, if I went down, and somebody hit my shoulder, like I would lose all feeling in my arm, or in 2019 at Unadilla, in the LCQ, I had a kid flip right in front of me on the first lap, and his rear wheels flipped and hit. Literally, it was like a magnet, went in right into my arm and literally lost all feeling. So like, I was battling with stuff like that, but it was really for the experience. But in 2020, I didn't do any Supercross training, and I didn't get the chance to do any Supercross races. I did almost every single outdoor last year. I only missed one of them. I only missed Millville because I had actually had a really nasty crash at Redbud, and I had actually enlarged my spleen. I thought that I had like broken my hip in the first moto, and it turns out that I actually had like bleeding within the spleen, and it made it super enlarged, and I could barely walk. Like I was literally walking with a full-on limp. And I limped up to the line for the second moto and still hit the leap with my spleen being basically on the verge of rupturing.
Jesus Christ.
So, but now this year I was actually able to do some Supercross racing, and now I'm running the full outdoor series.
So in Supercross, did you do 250s or 450s? Because I don't remember.
So I actually did the 250 East.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I missed the Houston rounds because I couldn't get my bikes quick enough. Obviously, with the schedule changes and all that.
Yeah.
I just wasn't able to get the bikes quick enough.
Well, you know, we
but
only went back and forth on which was starting first like 27 times, so that no one really fucking knew. So not a big deal. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. It was definitely a bit of a hard time trying to get everything together, and obviously kind of with different sponsors and trying to figure out exactly what kind of funding I was looking at, as far as getting any help. And obviously it was nice to be able to give the guys at JMC a little bit of representation on the East Coast, since they're a West Coast team. Those guys stepped up a bit to help me with getting a good bike together, a good motor together for Supercross. And so I actually started in Indianapolis. I raced the Indianapolis rounds, raced the Orlando round in the 250 class, made 2 of the 4 250 mains that I had tried for. So that was pretty cool. I mean, for my first year to be able to make a couple mains, that was pretty sick. I was super duper close in my first 2 rounds. Just had some unfortunate luck. I mean, I actually broke the top out spring in my shock in the first moto, or I'm sorry, in the first round, the first LCQ. And I didn't realize it until I was actually off the track, which would explain why I could not hit the whoops for the life of me in the first round. In the LCQ, I just felt like I was on a freaking pogo stick. And then the second round, I came together with another rider. He made a mistake and kind of almost Larry looped out into me just about.
That's awesome.
I did I tried a couple of 450 rounds. Truthfully, like I said, I mean, I have one month of training prior to this year's training. So I had realistically about 2.5 months of Supercross training before starting the Supercross rounds this year. So not a lot of experience, but I wanted to go into the 450 class for a couple rounds at Daytona and then Atlanta just to try out. Truthfully, I didn't make night shows. Speed wasn't there, and going to those the speedway style events was obviously a completely new experience.
Oh yeah.
And truthfully, it's interesting. People don't realize how insanely different, obviously, you ride moto your entire life. Nowadays there's a lot more access to Supercross than there used to be. But, obviously, the average guy, you ride moto your whole life, and then you go into Supercross, it's completely different. It's a completely different type of riding, completely different type of racing for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a huge learning curve. And then, I get to Daytona, and I was like, what the hell do I do? Like, this is just so just different. Like, I mean, really, man, it really left me with with me scratching my head. And I trained with a couple of really good guys out at Moto Sandbox, one of them being Kyle Chisholm and another one being Ronnie Stewart. And I asked both of them, I was like, what even is this? Like, what the hell am I supposed to do? And both of them told me, like, listen, man, like, this is a completely different type of racing. Those speedway events are totally, they almost go against what you think of for, the stadiums. It's just it's a totally different type of racing. I mean, you're hitting the same obstacles, but you're coming into them so much faster. And obviously your suspension's set up for the jumps and all that. So trying to navigate that with little Supercross experience that I have and with no speedway event experience, it's very challenging. I definitely have a lot of respect for guys like Nate Thrasher, who went and won, in his rookie year at events like that, because I know for me, I was like, I don't even know, I know what to do, but I feel like I don't know what to do. Felt very uncomfortable. So for him to be able to go and do that is quite remarkable. I have a ton of respect for him.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you train, first off, Chiz is a fucking legend, and he's coming on the show at Ironman, so I'm pumped about that.
Nice.
And what a great guy to learn and ask questions about Supercross from, because let's face it, as everybody in the industry knows, Chiz is going to fucking chiz. He's going to make that main, and he's going to get like 10th to 15th, and you're just never going to see it. Like, he is my number one pick for fantasy. If I can pick Chiz, I'm picking Chiz. Even at outdoors. I mean, let's face it. He shows up. What was the last outdoors he raced? It was something this year. I can't remember where he was. But he just shows up.
He raced at Southwick.
Yeah, and then just gets top 20. Like, just no problem. Just top 20. And now he's going to do like Buds and Ironman. And I'm sure he'll be in the top 20 both days there too if nothing goes wild. Like, it's just impressive. Like, at his age, he's doing this shit. It's awesome. So, great guy.
Yeah, no, I mean, the guy just oozes experience.
Yeah.
And I think that plays a lot into his ability to go out and do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's crazy. You know, I met Chiz last year for the first time, and you know, we didn't really talk too much, and then obviously now training for Supercross, you know, I got to hang out with him a bit more, and I got to learn from him, and honestly, he's just a really, really great dude. Really open to sharing his wisdom, which is really awesome for a guy like me, who obviously it was my rookie year for Supercross. That was super helpful to be able to have someone that's done it for so long and is so open to really giving me great advice. Obviously, when Ryan Sipes was at Sandbox once in a while, he would help me out as well and just kind of give me little tips.
Yep.
But Chiz really made sure that he took the time to tell me stuff that I could work on. Even, you know, dude, for an example, you know, just trying to tell me, you know, body positioning through whoops and kind of how to do them. This guy, no joke, Travis, this man really made me feel like a fool. He literally hit a set of whoops, probably fourth gear, you know, half, 3/4 throttle, just blitzed these things and looked at me as he was going by. He was not looking at the whoops at any point. He had his eyes locked with mine. I was like, you know what? You know, you can kind of shove it for that.
Oh,
but
that's awesome.
You know, you have some level of respect because he's like, watch how I do it as he's looking at me. And I'm like, you know what, man? Like, whatever, dude. You know, but the guy, no, he really is. I mean, he's definitely an icon for sure. And, you know, I'm definitely thankful to be able to have a good relationship with him and be able to, you know, go to him for advice for Supercross. And, you know, even for, we've been able to ride a couple times in outdoors, not too much. We just rode last week before I headed up to Dilla, and you know, just a good dude, good guy to have a good connection with. And yeah, no, I was giving him a hard time about Southwick because I actually beat him at Southwick, and I beat him in the overall. And yeah, no, I mean, it's all in good competition, all in just kind of giving each other a hard time.
Yep.
You know, it kind of started back in Supercross, where I was like, listen, man, like, you know, you might have me on Supercross, but you don't know what tricks I have up my sleeve coming to outdoors. And we did a race down here in Florida, down in Dade City, and the guy like whooped my tail, and you know, it was funny because he's like, man, he's like, honestly, Dade City is one of the last tracks you should be, you know, expecting to be me. He's like, I've probably been riding here longer than you've been alive. And I was like, dang, man, come on.
He's probably not wrong about that.
No, he's not. He actually, I was like, yeah, dude, I was born in 98. And he was like, yeah, no, he's like, I've been riding here for much longer than that. And I was like, dang, all right. So to be able to go and kind of, and, you know, I know that he went down at Southwick and all that kind of stuff, but it's, you know, still just giving each other a hard time. You know, it's all friendly, and it's all in just kind of giving each other a hard time. And like I said, he's a good dude, and you know, obviously, you know, when he beats me, I'm willing to obviously admit, you know, he definitely had me, and you know, I have a massive amount of respect for the dude. You know, and then, you know, he gave me a little bit of props for Southwick, even though he went down. I was like, all right, man, cool. There's a bit of respect there. And obviously, you know, it works both ways for sure. I have a ton of respect for him. And as a guy, he seemed like, you know, a really good dad and just a good dude to be around. Great representation for the sport and for for the companies that, rely on him to keep up a good image.
Yep. So riding at Moto Sandbox, what's that like? Because we all see these training facilities online, like Moto Sandbox, Stu's place, those kind of places where it's like not really open to the public. I know Moto Sandbox is starting to bring more kids in now because Jason Baker is running it or whatever. But what's it like to ride there, especially because, I know at Moto Sandbox, like you said, Chiz was there. I know Amart was riding there for a long time. I think, is Kenny still there? Do you know? Is Kenny still training there?
Yes, sir. Yeah, he is. It's definitely, I will tell you, it's pretty sweet. I mean, this year was actually my first time actually being able to ride it at Moto Sandbox.
Okay.
I've actually been able to go out there before it was Moto Sandbox just to watch. And I didn't get the chance to ride there until this year. And honestly, I've always seen that place and I'm like, oh my God, dude, I want to ride there so badly. The tracks are just legendary.
You and me both, brother.
And I mean, Amart was out there. Kenny was there. Chiz, Sipes was out there a few times. Definitely good dudes to be around.
Wasn't
a lot of experience.
Barsha there at one point too, I think?
Yeah, Barsha, I forget exactly. I think that Barsha was there, I think, around the time for the Orlando races. Okay. And the guys at Moto Concepts came out for the week of Daytona. Mm-hmm. So I was able to ride with McElrath. He's a good dude, too. Him and I play Call of Duty once in a while. So
yeah, I really hope he gets paid this year for riding for that team.
I don't know the ins and outs of it. I haven't really.
You don't have to make any. I don't expect anyone that is in the industry and could possibly benefit from that team in the slightest to make any comments about that. But don't worry, I'll make all the comments. I really don't know
because I really don't know. I haven't played Call of Duty with him for a little while. I haven't talked to him too much about it. I just made sure to tell him congrats on it and all about that. And I was like, dude, I told you would get a spot. The man, really, he came out swinging in that 450 class. To be honest, did. I know that he wasn't top 5 in mains and stuff like that, but let's be honest, that man coming out in the 450 class at Orlando for his first race for the year and hole shotting and being out in front in the heat race, I'm sorry, man, that just shows there's some spark.
Oh, there is. I mean, I don't want to say I called it, but it's McElrath's always good at his first round. I've watched it for the last however many years in Supercross. He comes out that first round and just is flying. So going into that,
man's ready to do work.
Yeah, going into that, I was like, he's probably going to come out swinging and do something that we're like, holy crap, this is awesome. And he did. He sure did. Now, granted, then it all went to hell really quick, but yeah, that heat race in that first round there in Orlando was pretty good by him. So I just hope he gets paid to ride for that team. I expect Forrest Butler to hit me up any minute and want to fight me in front of his house, which is fine, whatever. I don't have a problem with that. That's cool. We can take this to the streets, baby. But so it's that team's a mess.
On video.
That team is a mess. So, but the bikes are good, so that's cool. So hopefully he gets on there and does some good results, and then can move on to someone that actually will pay him without having to go to court. So, anyway.
Oh, jeez.
You'll learn very quickly, Scott, that we are one of those controversial shows that it's there's going to be a lot of talk via promoters about us because they don't like us because we say a lot of things that they don't want us to say. So
listen, man, listen, honestly, I understand that. I mean, there's a lot of good and bad and ugly to the whole deal, just like with any sport. And, obviously nobody likes to talk about it. But it's at least okay, I would say. And it's necessary to be real with the people, that's, truthfully, that's how I am. I mean, obviously I try to be respectful and stuff like that. If somebody, asks me what I think, I'm not afraid to be honest, respectfully.
Yeah.
I feel like there's obviously, just like I said, just like with any sport, there's some areas that could be worked on, and I think that there's a little bit of injustice in some spots. But you know what? Like, the best thing, as far as I'm concerned, the best thing that I can do is just put myself in the best place for success, so that way those injustices don't affect me as badly.
100%.
Obviously, in my opinion, obviously, and I know there's a lot of people out there that would agree, that I think that, the privateers who, realistically of the 80 guys, I would say, and I'm not spitting exact figures on a weekend at pro motocross, but, if you have 80, 90 guys that are entering, and, your top, 14, 15, 16 guys are factory guys, and the rest of us are, the privateers and helping that are making the show. There's more of us than there are of the factory guys. There's, maybe could be a little bit of more consideration for the privateers as far as helping to make our journey possible.
Oh boy,
and,
you're going to get me started down a path here. You're going to get me started.
Listen, I'm just saying, I think that there's a little bit more that could be done. Obviously, who are they relying on to fill the gates? In Moto 2, when guys crash out in Moto 1, it's not more factory guys, it's more privateers.
Mm-hmm.
You don't fill those gates with more factory guys. You fill those gates with more privateers. You make the image look good, but you have full gates. So, listen, man, I respect you for saying the stuff that sometimes needs to be told. I feel like that's important nowadays, and that's one thing I try to do, like in my own series and in my YouTube channel, obviously, like I said, being respectful, but at the same time being true about what it is to be a privateer and showing off, like, dude, like I'm not rolling around, with some huge budget, like, I'm going week to week, and
you're driving a van with
really
no brakes across the country. I mean,
that was a one-time thing.
Like literally,
But,
we don't even know if you're going to make it down that mountain to get away from Unadilla. Like it's fucked, bro.
Driving the 98 Ford van. I mean, listen, Mabel the Moto van gets the job done.
Mm-hmm.
Mabel gets the job done. But obviously, I rely on my network of friends and people that support me to do what I do, because obviously without them, and even without my buddy Sater at Clutch Media, without his help to make my YouTube channel possible, I don't have the time to do that. Like I said, I mean, I'm racing, I'm training, I'm a full-time college student, I'm in my master's degree, and I tutor online part-time. Like, where do you think I'm getting the time to do the editing for a YouTube channel? Like, I don't have it.
Exactly. Yep. I fully understand, bro.
So, I mean, just trying to be real with the people. So, like I said, I respect you for that, man. The truth has to be said.
Well, and I don't want to come across as like we're just some asshole out here to call everyone out on their bullshit, whatever. We try, number one, what I want, and the more I dig into this, the worse it gets. But what I really want, like you said, I want everyone on that line who's risking their lives to do this and put on this show. Y'all should be able to make a living doing this. You shouldn't have to be driving your van with no fucking brakes across the goddamn country and like being like, fuck, dude, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to afford to put the fucking brakes on when I get back. You should be able to go, okay, cool, we got to put brakes on it. Actually, in all reality, because I've done math on this, you shouldn't have to drive your damn van there anyway. This is like going to the fucking Detroit Lions and being like, oh, hey, by the way, the game is in Dallas this weekend. Make sure you're there by 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. The game starts at 6. And just like, good luck. And, oh, by the way, when you get there, make sure you got $300 to get in the door. No, go fuck yourself. Like, we are the show, okay? You're paying us to be the show. And like I said, I don't want to use like hype words or like any of those trigger words at this point, but for lack of a better term, I want, here's what I'll put it. I want better for the privateers than what you guys are getting right now, since you are the show. And I just want to make sure that everything is working the way it's portrayed as it's working, and it's not right now. There is so much smoke and mirrors out there. There's such a difference between, say, a Ken Roxon and like you driving around your 98 Ford van. Like, do you know what Kenny would say if he had to drive a 98 Ford van to the race? He'd be like, fuck this, I'm out. Now, don't get me wrong. Yeah. I'm not saying that Kenny getting paid, $2.5 million a year as a base salary is wrong. He is one of the best in the sport. He should get paid like it. That's fine. You should get paid more than what you're getting, because there's definitely money there to pay you. There is. I've seen it. I have all sorts of information that I probably shouldn't have, because I'm just a nobody from Michigan, as to the kind of money that comes in, especially from nationals. Supercross, I'm not quite as privy to. Like, I can make some educated guesses on Supercross side, but like outdoors is a fucking mess. And like Davey Coombs and I'm sure we're gonna fight again, because I've already fought with him once on Instagram about the GoPros on the helmets type thing. And I'm sure we're gonna fight over all sorts. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure at some point I'm not gonna be welcome at the outdoor nationals anymore. like I'm not gonna be able to go in there without a disguise. It's gonna be awesome. But I don't care, because they need to fix some things for you guys to make things better. And there is money there to do it. And if there's not, then you're going to have to show me why there's not money there to do it, because the numbers I'm looking at and the numbers I know for different things, there's money there. There's plenty of money to go around. And still they can make up money. They can still be profitable. Like, no problem. So
yeah, I mean, for me as a business major, because that's what I do. I'm a business major. I'm pursuing my MBA with a concentration in sports business.
That is fantastic.
And honestly, obviously I understand there's a little bit of a lapse from textbook to reality, but in all reality, I do believe that there are opportunities that can be put in place, and we've actually seen, for the sport to grow even more and to benefit guys, like myself, to make it a little easier, to make it a little more doable. Because, obviously anybody that's not afraid to say something, from the privateer side of things is like, dude, we have it bad. And to be honest, like, it's not a lie. Like, for me to go and place top 20 in both motos, if I get paid contingency and event pay, I'm still really not breaking even on my costs to go and race.
Let's say you go 2020 because you're racing 450 outdoors. So you go 2020. What does a 2020 finish pay you for a payout from the race? Let's not talk contingency. Let's just strictly go with what you're going to get for a check from the AMA, aka MX Sports, right now. What would they pay?
So to be truthful with you, so normally I would try to say, what did I race before the break? That was Washington, and I did a 19 and like I don't even know what I got the first medal for. Like a 23, I think 23-19. And
for 21st overall, I got it written down.
You'd be right. I think that I was looking at just under $700. So,
and they charge you $300 to enter, right?
Usually, I'm trying to think. It's $250 to enter, $262 after your convenience fees and all that stuff.
Unfucking real.
And obviously, we're, as a privateer, you're looking at your gas costs to get out there, your race fuel, which realistically, if you're not running a Pro 6 or an ETS or even Renegade, whatever, obviously a can of Pro 6, from the shop and the guy that helps me out, that gives me to it at his cost, $150 for 5 gallons, which realistically you go through an entire can of gas in a day, just about.
Yep.
Your entry fee, obviously your licensing at the beginning of the year, and then obviously, paying for a mechanic passes for mechanic, my mom, and my film guy. That's, and I obviously have to pay for those passes. And hotel, food, all that kind of stuff. There really is no room to break even. And the struggle is real, man. I mean, obviously, yes, you see like the guys, the privateers out here really, I use the term hustling loosely because it does have a little bit of some people take it the wrong way, but we really do a lot of networking. We really do a lot of work to try and gain help from, those guys that love the sport and the businesses that just want to see guys from around their area or wherever, do well and put their names out there, and to try and get into a factory level ride, or even a ride where, you have everything paid for and all you have to do is show up, because, it's definitely and I, like you said, I mean, it is definitely a touchy subject, personally, like I said, I mean, the more that I learn, the more opportunity that I see, and that's my opinion. Not everybody might agree with me, and everybody's entitled to their opinion, and that's okay.
The closed-minded is what doesn't agree with you, because I'm with you. There is a shit ton of opportunity for you guys. I mean, look at people like Jeff Walker, and we'll go with Kevin Moranz. Now, they're doing two completely different ways of going about it. So Jeff Walker has built this YouTube channel, and he makes really good money off the YouTube channel, not necessarily just from views, but he also does brand deals, shit like that. So he's making enough money. Like I've had some, me and one of my co-hosts, Cole knows him a little bit better than I do. We've had some private conversations with like him and his dad, and we've heard some figures thrown around, and like, so we know like he's making good money off of that. And
props to him for that. That's smart.
And then you have like on the opposite end, you have Kevin Moranz, who we back here, and he is doing a marketing for racing in a completely different way than anyone else, with the helmet wrap deal and now the Patreon deal, where you can get your, if you're a fan and you want to pay $50 a month or whatever, he's going to put your name on his front fender with his graphics kit, and boom, you're part of the team basically, which is what he's doing is also fucking awesome. So two different spectrums there, and those guys are making money. But then you have, let me ask you this, when you're filming in outdoors here for your thing, did you have to fill out one of their filming whatevers for MX Sports to be able to do that?
Yes. Yeah. And my buddy, we weren't able to get in-track access. So all the shooting that he does is all from the sidelines. So anything that you guys see on my YouTube channel at a pro national is Sater shooting from the sidelines. This guy is not even on the track, and he's getting the shots that he is. All the pictures that you see on my social media, on my Instagram, this kid is shooting them from the sidelines. He's not even in the track, and he's getting the shots that he is.
100%.
Like, the kid has insane talent, and he even got into the apprenticeship program with the guys at Loretta's to try and make some headway in being able to get some I guess recognition, and even get his name to be recognized, so that way being able to get into the tracks, that way he can get even better film, which helps me, and it helps me promote the sport. It's circular. There has to be a bit of understanding that obviously everybody is helping everybody, and if there is a little bit more kind of reciprocation, it just benefits everybody more. But now he was only able to get the I guess the word I want to use is the credentials, or
no, that's the wrong word. What he got was his Nazi papers to be able to have the opportunity to film from outside the fence. Dude, when that shit came out, I was so mad, because I've been filming from outside the fence at Redbud National every year for 5 fucking years. And now they want to tell me, oh, you can't bring your camera in. You can't film from outside the fence, even though everyone has a cell phone. So we're not going to take away everyone's cell phone, but because you have a camera, fuck you. And then we're going to have to watch your YouTube channel. And if you say something we don't like, then we're going to take your shit down. No. Go fuck yourself. I did not apply for that pass. We didn't take that pass. We don't have that pass, and they can fuck themselves as far as I'm concerned with that. Again, this is another bullshit way that they're trying to control everything around the outdoor series that is keeping it from growing. In my opinion, you guys should not have to pay an entry fee. You shouldn't have to pay an entry fee for your mechanic. You should not have to. They should be paying for a film guy to follow you and do a YouTube channel with you. Why? Because that will grow the sport. Making you pay for him to get in, making you pay him, making you apply for that damn pass is just bullshit. Because you say you want to grow the sport, and then you fucking put all of these restrictions on it. It's just complete crap. That's all it is. It is complete and utter crap, and it's just so they can control any sort of narrative around it. Because if you have that pass at this point, and you go on your channel and say something really out there that they don't like, they are going to shut you down like... for lack of a better term, like the Nazis did in Germany in World War II. Like, they are just going to put the clamp down on you, man, and it's going to suck, and it's ridiculous because, again, here's another opportunity for you to have some sort of income coming in from YouTube, whether it's brand deals, whether it's sponsorships outside of YouTube, whether it's YouTube revenue itself. Here's the opportunity for you to do that, and then they're going to clamp it down if you say something that they don't like.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I really think that, and actually, I think a great example, you look at, obviously I know that Formula One is massive.
Yep.
It is the biggest and most elite racing in the world. But, like they have, obviously, I don't even truthfully know even the depth. I would imagine that there's quite a bit of outside, media outlets and channels and whatever to watch, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. But one great example is like Netflix. Netflix has a series on the drivers and so forth.
Drive to Survive.
You Drive to Survive, that's right. And I love that stuff. I love that. If you support the riders and you support their content creation, all you're doing is you're like, even as a racer, we have a bad race and we're like, oh my God, like, I did, just whatever, like track sucked, blah, 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 like whatever, you go and say whatever. But at the end of the day, you have people watching and engaging with the sport, and it just it's just more visibility, and I think, obviously if you support the riders in that way and you're just creating more and more eyes. People love the behind the scenes stuff.
Yep.
As far as the GoPro stuff, I would definitely like that sucked, the whole thing with the GoPro deal. Obviously a guy like Adam Cianciarulo, who is, you normally see, that's the guy who's, GoPros are going up on YouTube for GoPro, and he has a GoPro deal. Like, dude, that had to suck, even for a factory level guy.
Yeah.
And for me, I did a couple of GoPro previews on YouTube for Supercross, and then come outdoors, they were like, yeah, no, like you can't do it, pretty much, period, unless it's on the bike, or I guess I don't know if you're allowed to run a chest mount, but realistically, who's going to want to run a chest mount at any point during a pro national?
Yeah,
probably nobody. And we saw, realistically, look at what happened with the Sabachi onboard camera at High Point. Like,
oh God, the 1980s onboard, you mean?
Listen, I don't want to sound too hateful, but it just, the execution wasn't as good as what I think that they were hoping for. So
that was terrible.
I think that. So, it does suck, because obviously for me, like, dude, people love that stuff. Like, you see the viewing of those videos, and even for a guy like myself who, I've never raced Washougal, and I wanted to go and I wanted to watch just about every GoPro onboard camera that I could find
Exactly.
of Washougal.
Yep.
You know, but people love that stuff, man. People love seeing that kind of stuff because, you know, it just offers a completely different perspective. And, you know, it definitely sucks. You know, I understand that there was a bit of, you know, I guess some of the reasoning was dealing with, like, you know, the idea of like, oh, like the GoPro like catches the head and it yanks it, and you know, injury and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, man, like, that's, I mean, to be honest, at that point, then visors should be a problem. And are you really about to take that? Or, you know, and not only that, but, you know, and all the things that we do in the sport, like, I think that's a bit hard to say, because you can have your GoPro pop off. Like, it does happen. You know, I like I said, I mean, I'm not totally agreeing with it. I don't know. I don't know all of the details around it. I just think that it sucks because it was, you know, a great way for people to engage with the sport even more. I mean, obviously, you know, you know, pushing content, push content. And, you know, if someone watching the live race isn't an option and they don't care about watching 2 hours total of just watching the motos themselves, not watching the interviews or anything like that. If that's not an option, if somebody doesn't want to do that, they just want to watch the highlights, and they want to watch a GoPro video, and they want to watch a couple YouTube videos, like, you know, you're just limiting the ways for people to interact with the sport, to grow the sport. You know, it's a bit of a shame, but you know, like I said, I mean, personally for me, I think that there's, like I said, you know, there's definitely opportunities, but you know, obviously we're going to keep growing, and, you know, we're going to get my boy Sater inside the track next year. You can count on it. He'll be inside the track. We're going to push for it, because we want to make sure that we put out great content for people. We want to give them, you know, the awesome shots like you see on like on BAM TV, you know, on Barsha's you know, channel, and, you know, want to help my boy grow, and want to help him grow what he's doing. You know, and, you know, just be able to kind of make it better for everybody. You know, if he's able to go and he's able to get better shots, put out better content, you know, it not only helps me, it helps him as well to promote his brand, and, you know, it helps the sport too. Obviously, you know, the better picture that you can get, and the, you know, the better shots that you get, you know, viral stuff doesn't go viral because it looks bad. You know, most times it's because it looks pretty sick and it's clear. You know, for the most part, unless you're watching somebody like wad their brains out or something. You know.
Yeah, pretty much. So, so how did the whole YouTube thing come about? Did you just start that this year? Did you have one going before this? Like, what was the deal with that?
Honestly, that was just something that I decided to do. I was kind of talking about it last year, like late last year, and I was like, man, like, you know, I had gotten myself an eBay steal. I got a GoPro Hero 7 Black for super cheap off of somebody, and I was like,
great camera.
I'm gonna and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna run this thing a little. I'm gonna make some onboard footage, and I think that it'll also help me too. With some of my training and kind of analyzing, you know, some things that I could work on and so forth. And, you know, then the idea came about of, you know, why not make a YouTube channel? Make a real behind the scenes look of what it is for me. Somebody that, you know, like literally right now, I have a paper due in 5 hours that I'm halfway done. You know, a term paper for my international business class. You know what I mean? You know, it's not, you know, even just aside from being a privateer, it's very different from, you know, most of the racers that are even out there. You know, I don't know a lot of guys that are in masters programs that are out there in the top 20s, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, it's, you know, it came to me as a thing of, you know, it's very individual. It's very special, you know, and I think it's very relatable for people, you know, obviously that are like, man, like it's, you know, it's more than just a racer. It's more than just a guy that just spends his life training and racing and road biking and, you know, on the ski erg or, on the rower, all that kind of stuff. It's there's a lot more to me than just my racing. And, truthfully, I do understand that obviously, my higher education and my continuing education does take away a bit of my time from my program. It takes a little bit of time. It makes my time very, 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 very tight. But, it's for me, I understand that there's a life after racing. I want to be able to try to contribute to the sport as best as I can. I want to try to create positive impact. And, through my YouTube, I just want to be able to show people, what that looks like. Show people a bit who I am. Obviously, truthfully for me over the years, I've been a bit, I'm a little bit more of a private person. And, I've realized that, I kind of need to open up a little bit. And truthfully, the more I do, the more that I find that people really like who I am and the story that I have to tell about myself. And all I'm doing is just speaking my truth about my life and my experience as a racer and my personal growth. And so, the YouTube was just something that I think our first episode was either in December or January. We're hopefully releasing another video this week. Obviously, so Sater, my buddy who has Clutch Media Films that does all the filming and the editing. He also he just started a small business. He's making goggles and is making apparel, and he's slowly growing his own business as well. So we're a couple dudes that and he's a college graduate as well. So we're a couple dudes, educated dudes that are taking a stab at it. We have things going on in life. It's more than just the racing, and for him, it's more than just the filming. The guy has a business. So, that's really what I wanted to do, was just show people, the realistics behind it. And it's growing more and more. And obviously, as I kind of figure out, ways to make it a little bit easier on myself as far as, getting the kind of content up that I want in a timely manner and stuff like that. I see some stuff like, for example, like I saw, you said about Jeff Walker, and I think I've gone on his channel a couple times, and, I definitely respect the progress that he's made with that. But I've seen how he put a video up about crashing over a Supercross triple. Obviously I'm not as open about that, on my YouTube. Obviously if I wad my brains out, if somebody gets it on camera, that's cool. I mean, there's part of I think it was on my first or second episode of my series, The Privateer Path, that I wadded twice in one day in a rhythm section, literally at the exact same spot. So, but it's going to continue to grow. It's going to continue telling my story and following closely to who I am. That's the biggest thing is I want to show the story of who I am, show my progress, and show people, what it really is like. It is not, for the privateers and for myself, it is not sunshine and rainbows. It is a grind. And when I say grind, I do not mean that lightly at all. I don't mean it as in the fake, the fake story we put on Instagram of, oh yeah, dude, I'm grinding. No, dude, it's real. It is real, dude. I'm literally, I was working the night before Unadilla until 10 o'clock. I was like, okay, whatever, dinner, shower, all that. From 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, I am working on this paper that I have staring me at the face due Sunday night. I am going to work on this for an hour. And then obviously, race day. And then after race day, you're tired. So you lose a whole day. And then now today, I'm like, all right, man, I'm grinding this thing. I'm grinding it, and it's, for me, it's you're always on go mode. It's very few times that I'm not on go mode.
Yeah, so speaking of Unadilla, well, I know you got a paper due, so we'll try to get this wrapped up here soon. How
You are good, man. You are good.
Okay. How was the Unadilla track? Because I'll admit, watching it yesterday, probably one of the most boring nationals I've watched this year. I mean, it looked to me like typical Unadilla. It was tilled real deep. It got really ruddy, and basically what turned into rut cross all day. So what was that? What was it like riding it? What did you think of it? Go.
So my first experience actually at Dilla was in 19. It was one of the first ones that I ever did. I did not make the mains, so I didn't have a lot of track time on Dilla prior to yesterday. But I will tell you, I mean, I qualified decent. I had a little bit of a trouble with kind of bike setup all day, but aside from that, honestly, the thing is, Travis, like, Unadilla is such an iconic track to me. So it's just so cool. Even if the track isn't my most favorite track, I just think it's so sick riding it. You know what I mean? It's a staple in motocross. But I like the track changes that they did. Truthfully, it made it a little more high speed, which for me, I like high speed stuff. So for me, I really liked it. I will say though, yeah, no, it definitely got really, really, really rutted. And what was interesting was that there was a lot more like small chop, I felt like, this year, compared to what I've seen from years prior, just watching some of the old broadcasts and stuff like that. It definitely, I mean, look at what happened. I think it was Sexton in the first moto. I mean, the guy came off the start and, he just, the bike went right out from under him.
Yep.
So, I mean, what was interesting was there were certain spots that got a lot more rutted than what I would have thought it would have. And then there were other places like right after the finish line where it didn't get nearly as rutted as I've seen, like I said, in years past. But it was interesting. Honestly, man, I had a good run, not my best day. I started off, decent in qualifying. I'm not a big qualifying guy. I'm definitely a gate drop guy. But I'm working on it. Mm-hmm. And, I did not get a great start in the first moto, but I worked my way up to 15. Miraculously, on the first lap, I managed to pass a ton of people and make my way up to 15th, and I was riding good. My buddy Surratt got by me. Him and I always seem to be right neck and neck with each other. And we were kind of hanging there, and I stalled my bike twice and just made a bunch of stupid mistakes that cost me a bunch of time and positions. And I only managed to walk away with 1 point for the day. I got 20th in the first moto. I'm not sure exactly what I got in the second moto.
25th.
Truthfully, I did.
Yeah.
Listen, this is news to me because I was just struggling, man. The second moto, I just couldn't get comfortable on the track, and it kind of ate me. I was just kind of struggling, to be comfortable, to get my lines. Like it just wasn't coming together for me. Mm-hmm. And obviously I felt like the more that I tried, the more that I struggled. And it's super, super frustrating when that happens. Obviously as a guy that's been in the top 20, and I consider myself to be a top 20 guy, pushing for that top 15, I've been in that position, twice now, where I've been close to 15th or in 15th and just had, at Millville, I caught my foot over a jump and decided to try and be Superman. And then, at Dilla yesterday, just being a bonehead and just, making stupid mistakes. So Dilla was not exactly my best experience, but, I will say, obviously, anytime being at a track like that, I mean, it's just so sick, man. Like it's, like I said, it's a staple. And for me, I respect it and I love it, man. Like, obviously I went to those nationals when I was a little kid, and, back when, when Tim Ferry was on Yamaha.
Oh, wow.
And, the guy, yeah. And the guy gave me his goggles, and like literally like the best day of my life. And it was, for me, obviously, that was so cool as a kid seeing that, and even going back there once or twice, when I was on like super minis just to go and see, and now going and racing, and I'm like, man, like it's just so cool. And honestly, man, it just feels it's very wholesome, I would say. It's very, and it's because it's full circle, obviously for me as a young fan, as a kid, and that being like, man, I want to go do that. That's what I want to be. I want to go and race this track as a professional racer and be one of these guys. Mm-hmm. And, all these years later, and now I'm going and doing it, and I'm growing my presence, and I'm my name is getting out there more, and people recognize me from YouTube, and people just recognize my name from being out there, and people want to talk to me and interact, and being able to interact with fans is honestly so cool. And just for that race in particular, obviously I've spent a lot of time there as a fan, and at Budds Creek as well. Just the fact that it's so full circle just honestly makes that track such an awesome experience, even though I didn't have my best day.
Sweet. Now, are you originally from the Northeast then?
Yes, sir. I'm originally from Pennsylvania, southeastern Pennsylvania.
I knew that.
There.
I'm a fucking idiot. I knew that. God.
It's all good, man. It's all good. No, I lived there for about the first 16 years of my life, and then I've been in Florida for the past 7.
Okay, cool. I say, because I knew you were in Florida now, and yes, as soon as you said that, I was like, shit, he's from Pennsylvania, you idiot. So anyway, okay, cool, man. What's your favorite track on the series?
Oh, honestly, I'm between Thunder Valley and Millville. I'm more inclined to say Thunder Valley, though, just because the track is so dang fast.
That's interesting.
I love Thunder Valley. Honestly, yeah. I mean, what's interesting, though? The track robs so much power that on a 450, you feel like you are hammering the absolute freaking guts out of the thing, but it's so much fun. I personally like, I really, and it's hard to say exactly what, but I ride the track really well. And I enjoy how fast it is. I love going up and down, the side of a mountain, in the foothills there right before the Rockies.
Yeah.
I just love that, man. And that would be another reason why I love Millville. Millville's a super fun track, and being able to go up and down Mount Martin is pretty sick.
Oh yeah. Yeah, those are two that are on my list to go to, because we, like, national wise, I'm relatively new to the sport, we'll call it. Like, last 5-6 years is when I've really gotten into it. I was a kid of the 90s and like watched it on TV on ESPN and crap, but never really got that far into it. And then I went to playing hockey through middle school and high school, whatever, and then grew up and got dirt bikes at the ripe young age of 25, and now have really, really got deep into it. So I've been to Redbud, because obviously that's in my backyard here, but haven't been to any other national tracks. So we're going to do Ironman in a couple weeks here, because that one's obviously pretty close. But Millville's definitely on the list for in the next couple of years here for sure. And Thunder Valley is another one I want to go to, because that's pretty close to Denver, isn't it? Like, you could fly into Denver and be pretty close.
Yeah, it's right there.
Okay,
it's right there. And Ironman is another track that I like. I don't know like I said, I don't know what it is about that track, but I do like Ironman. It's pretty sweet, as long as it doesn't rain.
Oh yeah.
Like, once it starts flooding, then I'm gonna have to trade in my bike and go get a jet ski.
Yes, exactly. It's got to be that Godzilla jump. The Godzilla jump has to be it. So,
honestly, I will not lie, man. That track is pretty treacherous, though. You don't really see it, but there's a lot of little lines going up that jump that you don't see. So when you see guys get like all out of control going over the Godzilla jump,
yeah,
it's because there's a lot of bumps and a lot of really, really small lines that you guys can't see on TV.
Interesting. Well, I'm excited to see it. I've heard it's really cool from what people have told me. It looks cool on TV the years that it doesn't flood. So I'm excited to go there. Now, are you driving out to Cali for the final 2 rounds also?
You can count on it.
All right. Well, let's put it this way. From what I understand, it might just be the final round. I understand.
Uh-oh.
I understand. Hangtown is there's some issues going on. Like I heard a couple weeks ago, they're out of water. The well there is dry. So I don't know what's going on with that.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I'm not 100% sure. I'm at this point, from the information I have, and mind you, I'm just a nobody from Michigan, so take it for what it's worth. I've not heard things about Hangtown being super promising at this point.
If they don't race it at Hangtown, I would be willing to bet that there'll be another race at Pala. They'll take it back to Pala again.
Yeah, probably. We'll see. I mean, they won't go to Glen Helen, but
No. No.
He-
No, I would be willing to bet that they probably put it back at Pala again.
yeah.
Which I'm hoping that they change the track a little bit. Last year, I thought last year's Pala was pretty good. This year's Pala, I mean, personally, I wasn't a fan of it. Just interesting.
Was it that weird? Was it that weird
Interesting.
moon dirt that they put out there? Because I heard that was a blast to ride in.
Man, I'm not gonna lie, that was really deceiving. But it's what's interesting though is I actually haven't had any experience with California until the round last year. And I got the hard charger award. I went from like almost last in the start up to 21st.
Sweet.
And so then I was like, man, I really like this track. The track's pretty sweet. And I did enjoy it. I mean, California dirt's kind of crap because it just, at times where it looks like there's traction, there's actually none. And where there's times where it doesn't look like there's traction, there's really none.
Yeah.
But I wasn't. I mean, that was just really weird, how they tightened it up. I just feel like, as far as, for extending the lap time, I mean, I guess that you could have done that for lengthening the lap time, but it just didn't really make a ton of sense to me. I personally, for me, there were some spots of that track that were a little sketchy. That's my personal opinion. I really wasn't a big fan of it. Maybe I just needed to, put my big boy pants on, but maybe it could have been me. It could have been the track. Maybe it could have been both. I'm willing to admit that I didn't ride that great there. So I may be a little bit biased, but I don't know, man. I just wasn't a big fan of Pala this year for the opening round. I'm hoping that they kind of get it together, coming in a couple weeks and, that they kind of, realize some of the areas that they needed to work on and that they work on it.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll see here, man. It's gonna be interesting to say the least to see how this turns out. So, do you have plans for Supercross for 22 here? Because they've got the schedule out, so we know where we're going now.
Well, let's see. So if you're doing West Coast, you're basically in California.
Yep.
Or if you do East Coast, you're bouncing all over the country. Why?
Yep.
Because that's just how it is.
100%. 100%.
But right now I'm hoping to do another East Coast run next year. We'll see. Obviously, with it just bouncing all over the place like that just makes the expenses go up even more.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to. I've already kind of started some talks and trying to get, stuff together for next year. My program will be growing, though. You can definitely count on that. There will be opportunities for, fans to help support. And
love it.
I'm going to be releasing some merch here soon. I just got my emblem together, and big thanks to Sarah Penhankos for helping me out with that. And for all the hard work that she's putting into getting some merch designed. So you guys can definitely count on that. And yeah, like I said, there'll be opportunities for fans to help support the program. And I, obviously with that, being completely transparent about, what kind of costs we're looking at and trying to tell people kind of what it is that they're supporting. I want to be able to have better representation for people that are helping me going into next year. And I would like to see about growing the program by obviously, the more the more support I'm able to pull together, the better, obviously, for multiple reasons. I would love to have an actual mechanic, at least somebody to help me out on the weekend. I can handle the bike work during the week, but it's a struggle, man. I mean, I have a network of people that have, jumped in to help me out, for some of the outdoor rounds. My oldest brother, he's gone with me to a couple rounds and he's jumped in. I love him to death, but I really end up doing the work. He's more of kind of helping out, like, checking tire pressure and filling up on gas and stuff like that, and washing the bike. But it really does kind of come down to me.
Yep.
And I have some other buddies. I have a friend of one of my sponsors out in California who helps me. I have a buddy from the Midwest who comes out to help me at some of those rounds, but I would love to see about maybe making it just a little bit easier on myself, and try to expand into other things, maybe get some more costs covered, so it's not as hard on me personally, so that way I can focus on putting my own personal money into other things that would definitely help the program, like maybe a newer van. For sure.
Yep.
But we'll see what it looks like. Like I said, definitely be on the lookout. Merch is coming out, and there will be opportunities for fans to help out, to contribute to the program. The YouTube will be continuing to grow. You can count on it. There's going to be special projects that I have coming after the Pro Motocross series.
Sweet.
Have to leak a little bit. There will be a big CC 2-stroke coming out.
Yes.
That will be ripping.
Yes.
So
love it.
And we're not talking about little 252 smoker. No. We're talking big boy stuff.
Oh boy.
Big boy stuff. Big boy stuff.
I have a feeling I know what you're talking about. Did you see the build we did with Kevin on his 150?
I did. That thing was pretty slick.
Dude.
That thing was pretty slick. I liked it.
That bike came out sick when it was done. So
yeah, gorgeous.
I can't wait. He's coming up to do, there's a private track up here that I took him to when he was here to show him that he wants to ride. So they do a once-a-year ride right now at this place. We call it the golf course. It literally... They manicure this so it looks like a golf course, and it's a sand track that has big jumps and big roller section. Dude, the thing is sweet. And he's like, bro, you need to let me know when that weekend is that they have the ride day, because I'm coming. And I'm so pumped because I get to ride that 2-stroke that weekend, because I told him, I was like, we built this in my shop. I helped out with this. I want to ride this. He's like, nah, that's fair. So I'm pumped to do that, man.
No, man, absolutely.
So... and we'll talk off air too. We may be able to try to figure some stuff out. What do you do for training, like, during the week right now? Are you just literally on the road and trying to find tracks in between the rounds, or are you going back and forth to Florida? Like, what are you doing right now?
Usually I stay on the road. Obviously, being from the Northeast, I have some good friends, and I have a family that I'm very close with, that I'm fortunate that they let me stay with them and harass them in between, the rounds that are up this way.
Yep.
I know that by the time I'm leaving, they're like, all right, time to go. But no. But, good folks. And for right now, I'm staying on the road. Obviously for these last 5 rounds, I'm on the road, period. I don't really get to go home too much in between the rounds, just because of, the cost of going back and forth. And obviously I'm not flying.
Yeah.
So, I'm staying on the road, trying to find tracks to ride, at least once or twice, a week, between the rounds. Sometimes it doesn't happen, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Just really, the training for me was when I was at home and I was able to go and ride a bit and be able to train and do what I needed to do. It was kind of on me to do it. obviously when I'm out on the road and I'm having to sacrifice days of driving and so forth, and still doing school and getting the bikes all ready to rock and roll again, between the rounds and so forth, it definitely makes it a little harder. The travel aspect definitely takes a lot of time, for sure, and it makes the between the round riding a little bit harder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's, man, I can't even fathom what you guys go through, like, doing that kind of stuff. I mean, obviously, I've watched so many videos, and I've talked to a lot of you guys about this whole privateer, being on the road, like, trying to find places. I mean, it's hard enough for me being in one spot, running a business, which is very similar to what you guys are doing with running your programs, trying to get from place to place, and, like, trying to find time to go ride once or twice a week at most. And I mean, I have a small track at my house where I can just go out and ride, and it still is tricky to get that ready, go ride it, whatever, let alone to try to pack up and go to a track around here. So, I mean, I have nothing but respect for you privateer guys, and like it's guys like you that we really want to help out here, and we've got some stuff in the works that we're going to try to do also to kind of help you guys out. We have some merch and stuff that we're developing at this time to try to go into 2022 with some cash to be able to help out some of you privateer guys that are basically living in your vans. Because like we obviously we talk to you and try to keep up with you a little bit. Moranz, again, we sponsor him, so like we keep up with him. He's another one that basically lives out of his van, traveling across country, doing everything. Bobby Piazza is another one. I mean, that dude, I don't know like what your van life is compared to him, but that dude was telling me, like, at Indianapolis Supercross, he was like staying in his van at the stadium during the winter, and I'm like, bro, you should have let me know, because we could have made some stuff happen so you didn't have to stay in your van every single night for a week in Indy in the middle of February. Like, fuck.
Yeah, that's pretty hardcore, man. I mean, that's pretty hardcore, and honestly, man, like, thankfully, it's obviously it's an effort of the people that support me and the companies and the businesses that support me right now. And it's also a family effort. Thankfully, my family helps me, as much as they can. So that, like, when I'm staying in Indy, I have an Airbnb to stay at, so that way, I at least have a place to crash and to be,
not sleeping in your van in 30-degree weather, because Jesus, man.
Well, let me tell you one thing right now. It definitely got a whole hell of a lot colder than 30 degrees. That is for sure. At Indy. So, I mean, listen, Bobby, I wish you would have told me, man. I mean, listen, dude, we could have hung out and had you at the Airbnb, bro.
I know, man. I ended up getting in contact with him after the whole debacle of, like, what was it? McElrath not qualifying into the main and then getting to ride the main. And so, like, we called Bobby after that to be like, well, let's get your side of the story here, what the AMA told you or whatever. And so we talked to him at that point. And luckily, when that all went down, he got enough notoriety, and somebody started like a GoFundMe for him, and he made several $1,000s in that GoFundMe. So he's like, we actually got a hotel like the last 2 days, but yeah, up till that point, like the first 2 rounds, we were sleeping in the van. I'm like, bro, oh my God,
man.
And it's like him, his chick, and his dog. I didn't even
know about that.
Yeah, like
I didn't even know about that.
I give his chick a lot of credit too, because she just does it with him, man, and she's awesome. Like, we met her at Redbud, and she's totally committed to the cause. Totally just with him. I mean, it was very do you remember Matthias Jorgensen?
Yes.
Did you watch any of his vlogs with him and his chick? I mean, it's very reminiscent of them, of just living in their van and people helping them out where they can, but I mean, literally just staying in the van on the road, man, to make stuff happen. So, And
no, but you just gave me something to watch for sure. Because that sounds pretty sick. You know, and honestly, man, I think that truthfully, like, you know, having, you know, that ability to be able to have, you know, people like, you know, the fans love the privateers. Let's be honest. Like, you know, everybody's got their favorite privateers and stuff like that, and everybody's got their guys that they do. So I think that the ability to have fans, you know, obviously, you know, obviously being a full-blooded privateer, like, every little bit helps. And, you know, people are out there that want to help, and, you know, obviously not a lot of people are out here, you know, giving thousands of dollars, but, you know, if people want to just chip in little, like, I'm sure that the fans are more than happy to, and then, you know, they want to see it as support, and if they get to be involved in someone's program in that way, like, I'm sure that you know, people love doing it. So I you know, I have respect for Kevin for doing that kind of, I guess it would be almost some kind of platform marketing, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And just the ability to put people's names out there, and I'm sure are just thrilled to be able to be a part of his program and to get that kind of interaction with him, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, so owning a couple of companies, I don't make a ton of money. I support where I can. And I know it's the coolest thing for me when I'm watching that, say, Supercross broadcast, and they've got the camera zoomed in on Kevin because he's hole shot in 450 mains, you know, on a privateer KTM, and I can kind of see my logo on the bike and on the jersey. Like, it's the coolest thing. So being a regular fan who's like, I don't even know how to get involved in this, and him having that platform for them to be like, yeah, I'm on that bike, and then they zoom in and they're like, oh man, I helped that guy. Like, I give him, you know, $50 a month, $20, whatever it is. Doesn't matter. Like you said, it doesn't matter because with you guys, every penny helps. And so I can only imagine what these people are feeling. The problem is that I don't think enough people know how to. Well, there's two problems. Number one, I don't think enough people know how little they could give you guys to help out and still feel like they're part of it. And number two, some of you guys, and I'm not saying this is you, I'm just saying other dudes I've heard about, they don't respond, and it's like, when you don't respond, we can't help. And like, there's tons of people that want to help you guys. Everyone loves the sport. There's lots of us out there that love it. There's lots of us that would love to say, hey man, you're coming to say Ironman, okay? There's lots of locals to Ironman. There's lots of people that go there that would be like, man, I would love to just say I'm supporting that guy and give you a couple $100 just to be like, hey man, I helped you out, you know, and be able to tell their friends like, yeah, that guy right there, I'm sponsoring him this weekend, you know, whatever. So, I mean, I have lots of ideas rattling around my head. I'm going to try to enact some of these ideas going into 22 to really help out the privateer dudes more and try to get more help to more of you guys, because like I said, my company makes money. We don't make a ton of money, so I can only give out so much.
No, absolutely.
So but like I said, there is a point too with some of you guys that you don't respond, and you gotta respond, because it's like, I have a customer who's local here. He was trying to help out a rider at Redbud, and it took him like over a month and a half to like get a hold of this guy and be like, hey, here's money. And all I want to do is I want to give you money and then have the opportunity to buy the pit pass and basically hang out in the pits with you all day at Redbud. And like, if you need me to help you do something, I'll help you do something. I'll pay for my own passes to get into the pits. Like, I don't want to do anything but give you some money and be a part of the experience. And it's like, yeah, there's tons of people out there.
No.
So there's tons of people out there that would do that. And like I said, we have some things coming up. I'm lucky now that I have talked to enough of you guys and beat on the door enough that I'm starting to get in, and I'm starting to be able to get in contact with you guys and really help you guys out. I'm trying to come up with some ways, and I have some ways that we're going to try to, like I said, enact for 22, where I get people to buy products or whatever to help you guys and then pass the money along. And I I have a couple ideas that I think are really going to work. I have a couple of them like, this might not work, but we're gonna try it, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's the thing. Since these promoters don't seem to want to help you guys any more than what they already do, fine, we'll take it into our own hands and we'll do it ourselves.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And honestly, man, that's the thing. Honestly, for me personally, like, obviously, I recognize that, these fans, like, there's a lot of times, and I've even gotten a DM from some of them. They're like, man, I know you probably won't answer, but I just want to let you know, like, I'm a fan, and, you're really doing awesome in the outdoors, and I look forward to seeing you at Ironman. And I I answered back, I think probably within like a couple hours, and I was like, dude, I super appreciate it. I hope that you follow the YouTube as well, so that way you can see some of the behind the scenes stuff. But it honestly, dude, it makes my day being able to interact with people like that. That personally, I don't really see myself as like that guy. Mm-hmm. That a fan might see me as, but and that's just me being me. That's just how I am. I don't really see myself like that, but it really does. It makes my day, man, to be able to interact with people like that, and to, even if it's, making a small impact, for them, on their day, like, it's, people really, just like I did when I was a kid, I idolize these guys.
Oh yeah.
And even like to this day, man, like, Zach Osborne is, in my opinion, I think he's a good dude. And I've had a lot of really, really positive interactions with him, and he's always treated me super, super well. And, obviously I literally have the guy's jersey from when he was on 85 when he was at awesome. A local regional. And, like I had my sister go and get it for me. Right. Cause you have the sister who goes and asks, rather than a little kid. Yep. So, it worked out nicely, but, and being able to, now when I'm at a race, I mean, the term racing him is kind of a little relative, but, we're out there, we're out on the same track, and we're out there on the same gate, and the guy just treats me like, just a regular dude. And we go and we huck it up and talk, and, talk back and forth on Instagram a little and stuff like that. And, even to me, being a guy who races him, and obviously by the only circumstance right now that he is injured is the only reason I am ahead of him in points at all.
Hey, that's okay. Play it up. I would post that every day.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm beating Zach Osborne in points right now. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I think that we're doing okay, but I could be mistaken, but it's like, for me, it's I still look up to the guy, and the fact that he answers my DMs, I'm like it's still so cool, man. Like, a guy like that I've just looked up to even as a kid, and even now, as a 23-year-old dude, like, who's racing him, I'm like, it's still super cool. So even just to be able to have that interaction, like, for me, when I have people DM me and they're just like, man, like, great job this weekend, or like, if I post something and they're like, good luck, dude, like, I can't say that I'm going to answer on race day, until the end of the day, but I just love having the interaction, man. I think that it's super important, honestly. If you're not answering your fans, like, you're doing yourself a disservice, you're doing the sport a disservice, and you're doing the fans a disservice.
Exactly.
It's just wrong.
Because as much as it makes your day, like, you made their day tenfold by responding to them. I mean,
absolutely. I'm
halfway in this circus with you guys, and when I text or email or whatever one of you guys, DM one of you guys that's not someone I've met face to face and, like, got your phone number or whatever and actually talked to you, if they respond, it still to me is like, oh, this is awesome. Like, yes, I'm talking to this person. Fuck yeah. Like, it's still a cool feeling for that. So yeah, so anytime you're interacting with the fans like that, man, you're doing way more good than you could ever do bad. So do you get any DMs where people are pissed off at you about fantasy?
Actually, no. I've actually had a couple people in person though tell me, they're like, oh yeah, dude, I have you on my fantasy, like you're doing awesome. Like, but I haven't gotten anybody tell me, like I haven't had anybody tell me, dude, you like totally shit the bed. Like I haven't had that yet. It's funny actually, I had a dude that said that to me who was like, dude, I have you on my fantasy out in Washougal. On my way out of the race, this guy had me stop and sign his brand new moto van. And dude, honestly, it was a pretty awesome experience. I had my brother take a video and stuff like that for YouTube, so you guys will see that when the episode comes out. But you know, I mean, he was, you know, when I got out, and he's like, you're Scott Meshey, and I'm like, yeah, and he's like, dude, I have you on my moto fantasy. And I was like, yes sir, like that's what I'm talking about, man.
That's awesome. That is awesome, because I know some of these guys like really tear into some of these people fucking them over in fantasy, and I'm like, look, I'm as big into fantasy as the next guy, okay? And like, but I would never, even you guys that I know joking around would never text you and be like, you fucked me on fantasy. What are you doing, man? God. So
it's like, man, what the hell are you doing, man? Why is your suspension messed up? Why did you blow your motor? What the hell is wrong with you?
Exactly. Now, don't get me wrong. I'll get on the show and I'll be like, well, this asshole. Like a prime example was like Redbud last year. So I think I had Cody Shock on my team, right? And I don't remember which Redbud it was last year because we did the two, but I watched him and A-Ray like fist bump before the second moto. They rolled off the gate, rolled around one lap, and then pulled off the track. And like, I have no idea what's going on, okay? But I'm like, motherfucker, I just watched you fist bump this guy. Y'all rolled around one lap, and then you pulled off the track, and you completely fucked my fantasy over. Now, did I DM him, call him, anything like that? Fuck no. It's not that serious. Did I get upset on the fantasy show? Yes. Yes, I did. Did I call him out on the fantasy show? Yes. Yes, I did. And if he wants to text me and tell me what happened, which actually, there was a podcast, I don't remember if it was Gypsy Tales or something, he was on, and he said something about that race and why he didn't race it. So whatever. I know there was something going on, but whatever. But anyway, but as far as these dudes like texting you guys or DMing you guys and saying like, oh man, you screwed up my fan. Nah, come on, dude. Go beat yourself up in a corner or something, you retard. Like, come on. Let's get serious here. So anyway.
Yeah, no. That's a bit much, man. I mean, it's called fantasy for a reason.
Exactly. It's just a game, and like 99% of us are not winning anything. So, whatever. And do you play fantasy, or are you out on that?
You know, honestly, I did it a couple times. Probably, I think when Rocky Mountain Fantasy like first came out.
Oh, you did the hard one.
I did like that one, and I did it a couple times, and then I kept getting all my stuff wrong, and I'm like, you know what, this is stupid. I'm not going to win anything anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not going to waste my time.
Dude, that one is a total crapshoot where they're like, hey, pick the top 5 in the correct order, and then pick a random person in a random spot. Like, that's way harder. The Pulp MX game with the handicaps and everything, like, it's trickier to learn, but then once you figure it out somewhat, then it gets much easier to actually like put something together. But whatever, it's it's interesting, and I like it for the fact of it brings a lot of light to a lot of you privateer guys, because you have to go down that list and find those dudes to try to score actual decent points. Like, you cannot just pick top factory guys all the time, because your score will not be great. So
yeah.
All right, man. Well, we've been at this for almost an hour and 45 minutes with the two of us. Like I said, I know you got that term paper, but before you go, give a shout out to where people can find you, how they can follow you, people that are helping you at this point. Like, just get it all out there, so that way the people know where to go to get your stuff, find you, help the people that help you, that kind of stuff.
All right. Well, I guess first things first, as far as finding me, obviously you can follow me on Instagram. My tag is MesheyS441. Definitely check out my YouTube as well. My channel name is just Scott Meshey, but you can also find the series, The Privateer Path. Obviously, you know, feel free to like and comment, subscribe. You know, obviously anything helps. You know, I'm still to the point of trying to get it monetized. You know, obviously, if you're trying to support the privateers, that's a big way to help out. As far as sponsors go, you know, Definitely have to give a shout out to, one thing is I have to thank my family, obviously, for everything they do. Got to thank, my buddy Sater at Clutch Media Films, for all the hard work that he puts in. All the families and people that help me out along the way, and the friends that help me out along the way for, making what I do possible. The guys at JMC Motorsports, for getting me equipped for racing. Chris Johnson Real Estate, NNNman.com, Steadfast Environmental, Matt Bell at Harding Bell International. Thank you. Those, sort of some guys that have businesses around my area that help me out a lot. Great guys for sure. The Compound MX, Bo and Rod at the Compound MX, those guys are amazing dudes. They actually gave me a place to train last year before the Nationals and have really helped me kind of catapult my program to where it is now. I mean, I know that I was training out at Sandbox earlier this year, but those guys really, really gave me a place to a platform, I guess you could say, to really start advancing into the places where I'm at now. The guys at Olin's, Dirt Bike Depot, Max at Dirt Bike Depot, honestly, super great guy. And
that guy's a douche.
Come on now. He's an awesome guy.
I'm just kidding. He's pretty cool.
He's supporting some privateers, so massive respect for him.
He's doing good things there.
Yeah. Absolutely. The guys at the Cherubies, HBD Moto Graphics, Arai, 100% Garnet, Shot Race Gear. Just actually got some of their 2022 stuff, Shot Race Gear. They'll be back in the United States soon. You can count on it. But you guys can see on my socials some of their 2022 stuff. It is sweet.
Awesome.
Garnet, Works Connection, Weisco, Micah, DT1, Hoosier Tire, Real Home of the Hustle, Get Shit Done Coffee. Obviously, if you haven't tried it, you need to use code Meshey441 for some discounts, and that also helps me out a little bit because I get a bit of the percentage of the sales, so that would be another way to help out. The guys at Motorex, EVS Sports, Cherubies, Cryox Cryotherapy in Wesley Chapel. If you don't do cryotherapy, you're honestly missing out. Everybody that is involved with what I do, honestly, I'm super thankful for the team that I have behind me and the network of people that I work with, for sure. I mean, it's really incredible, the kind of stuff that we're pulling together. And if you don't follow me, you really should, because every single time that I get points at a national, I start giving away a bunch of stuff. Listen, man, we're giving away $50 gift cards to Dirt Bike Depot. My boy Sater, who has Clutch Media Films and Clutch Racing, we're giving away mystery boxes. We're giving out cases of cold brew coffee, and we're giving away a product from EVS. So, and we're continuing to grow. The more people that are entering, the more stuff that I can give away, the better stuff I can give away, and the more people are wanting to join in. I'm in talks with some other companies to try and jump in. I'm talking with the guys at Olin's about trying to do something, for the end of year, like a big giveaway. But I can't do it without people entering and without them supporting and sharing the posts. So if you guys follow me, if you want free stuff, go to my page, share it. If you guys want bigger stuff, better stuff, more giveaways, I'm all about giving back to the community. That's a big thing for me. I want to give back to the community. I want to create positive impact, and I can't do it without the support. So please, share that stuff. Follow me, help me grow. I will help you guys in return.
Attaboy. That's what I like to hear. So awesome. Well, everyone, go check out all that stuff. Make sure you go follow our boy Scott here. Like you said, he's giving away stuff, and everyone loves free shit. So just go follow him. Maybe get some free stuff. It'll be awesome. So, Scott, thanks for coming on, man. Really appreciate it. I know we were supposed to do this earlier in the year, and we had some issues. So now we're in it. We're on it, and we'll find you in the pits in a couple weeks at Ironman, because we're coming in hot.
Awesome, man. Sounds good. Definitely look forward to seeing you guys. Thank you for having me on the show, Travis. Honestly, it's been a pleasure. Yeah, man, it's been great talking to you. If you don't do a lot of podcasts, you should do more, because you speak very well.
So
I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot, man.
I interview quite a few people, and some people it's like pulling teeth to get them to talk, and with you it's not. So yeah, you should be hitting up every podcast out there and telling them, hey man, I want to come on, I want to talk and tell my story, and yeah, just do it that way and make it happen. So
yeah, man. Listen, we'll do it. We're like I said, we're expanding. We're expanding. You never know where you're gonna find me.
that boy. Well, good luck on your paper, man, and like I said, we'll see you in a couple weeks at Ironman.
Sounds good. Thank you, Travis. Appreciate you, man.
Yep. Later, bud. All right. Scott Meshey, everyone. All right. We're gonna try and make another phone call here. Hold on a second. We're gonna try to call friend of the show, Kevin Moranz. That was a great interview by Scott, though, wasn't it? Anyone who's not following him, make sure to go follow him. Super nice kid. His mom's awesome, by the way. She's really awesome. Met her at Redbud. She's great. Let's see if friend of the show, Kevin Moranz, picks up here. We got all sorts of friends. I don't have to do solo monologues much anymore. It's fantastic.
Yo,
Kevin Moranz. Welcome
What's
to the
up?
Moto Aftermath Show, bro.
oh, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great. Just got off the phone with another privateer hero, Scott Meshey.
Oh man,
I think he's taking some cues from you. He's got some stuff I think coming down the pipes for 2022 that's gonna look real similar to your project you got going on over here.
That's not what I want to hear, bro. It's Kev's only, okay?
Oh, bro.
Bad.
Hey,
I'm just playing.
there is plenty for everyone to eat out there. All right.
I'm playing.
So
It'll actually be pretty I'd be shocked if there's not multiple people that kind of start following the path that I'm heading down, because if they don't, then they're dumb.
yeah, I mean you're doing a great job kind of showing these guys the way on what to do here. So it's going fantastic.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, buddy. Trust me. I'm a huge fan of yours on top of being a friend and a supporter. So
Yeah, I appreciate that. A lot of work goes into it. So
trust me. I know. I saw it firsthand for like 3 days.
yeah. Yeah, for real.
So bro, did you watch the race?
No, it's not.
Okay, then we won't talk about the race. Let's talk about your recovery here. So
Okay.
we're in recovery mode. We got 2 weeks now till Ironman?
Correct.
Are we signed up for Ironman? Are we in?
We are signed up. I don't know what, 3 days ago. I have not gotten a confirmation for either one, but I went ahead and just balled out and signed up for the last 3. So we'll see which ones we get accepted to. I'm assuming we'll be accepted to all of them.
That a boy. That's what I like to hear. How's the recovery going here? I know that you're on the bike now. You're putting out lots of content being on the bike, which is awesome. People should go follow you at Moranz Racing, at Kevin Moranz 85 or Moranz 85, whatever. Moranz 85, that's what it is.
Moranz.85.
Moranz.85. Look, dude, I'm getting better at it, okay? At least I'm not way off like I was before. Anyway.
Kevin Moranz Racing.com.
Oh,
or no,
Jesus.
KevinMoranz.com, not MoranzRacing.com.
Oh, see, you can't even remember. How am I supposed to remember over here?
I was trying to tell you what you did last time, because you said MoranzRacing.com. Whatever, not a big deal. Anyway, continue.
Look, just look up Kevin Moranz on Instagram. You're gonna find his pages, okay? And
yeah, there you go.
if you really want to ball out, he is selling. Can we break the news about the helmet stuff, or is that not out there yet?
No, go ahead. I mean, break it. I haven't done my whole little video skit on it, but the idea is out.
I guess I don't know for sure the whole story, but he is selling spots on his helmet for your name.
Kind of.
Okay.
So
I'm half right again, as per usual. So correct me.
Selling spots, I guess, that's not the way I put it. But so this is the way I'm doing it, right? And I got to make it creative and short and sweet video about it to kind of market it. So that's one thing. That's the step that I haven't done yet. That's why I haven't posted it, made it public knowledge. But the plan is anybody and everybody who is a part of my current Patreon. If they want to go join, just hit the link in my bio and on Instagram, or you go to kevinmoranz.com, hit the Join Moranz Racing tab, join as a fan, anything like that. So everybody who is a part of the Patreon is going to get their name on that helmet. So it's not necessarily like, I guess in a sense, yes, you're buying your spot, but if you join the Patreon at any level, to join it for $5 and get your name on my helmet at the final round of Pro Outdoors.
Sick.
So everybody who's a part of it is going to have their name on the helmet. And then I am going to be giving that helmet, after I race in it, I'll sign it. I'll be giving that helmet away to one of the patrons that has their name on the helmet, right?
Sick.
And the way I'm going to do it is entry-based, right? So if somebody hops on at the $5 tier, they get one entry. But if you hit the top tier, which is, I believe it's $95 a month, which is to get a front fender, your name on the front fender, everything like that, you get 24 entries to win said helmet. And obviously,
that's good.
Name size will be based off of tier as well. So the smaller tier you are, the smaller your name is. The bigger tier you are, the bigger your name is on the helmet. So I don't know. It's a cool little idea. I wanted to kind of jumpstart in for this year, get a little test run with it. I think it's pretty cool to get people involved, obviously, to bring some more support from my end, and then really blow it up for Supercross next year.
Sick. Love it. Love it.
You like the idea?
Yeah, dude. No, it's cool, man. It's cool. Are you gonna do different fonts on it compared to, like, I know the fender, you've got that pretty clean, easy to read font. Like, are you gonna do maybe like some graffiti font or something like that on the helmet to kind of?
I will probably keep it clean.
Okay.
Just because obviously, you know, people are gonna want to be able to read their name on it.
Yeah.
I have a couple different designs, like the one that I just posted to Instagram today for people to come by and check out, just the idea. I have a couple different designs. That's the one that's more organized and neat and like names in a line or in rows, I guess. I got another design that's kind of like just names randomly everywhere, which I think kind of looks cool. I guess it depends on the amount of names, amount of support, amount of people that have to go on the helmet, and then wada boom, we'll figure it out and make it happen.
Hell yeah. So you've been doing some...
Shout out to our girl, Sarah Ball at Bike Graphics for making all that happen.
Well, I can't shout her out. She's not supporting the show yet, okay? Like, she's got she's got to bring some support over this way before I'm shouting her out hard, okay?
Gotcha. Well, I got it snuck in there.
Yeah, she's a nice lady, okay, and she helped me out tremendously. So, you know, like, she's cool, but we're not shouting her out too hard over here, okay? We gotta get some help coming this way. Like, maybe send me some graphics for my 450. Like, we'll make some shit happen. Anyway, so you've been doing some local races, I see. Where was that? Where was that one that you were you showed the like gate pick or whatever, and it was like you and Grant Harlan and I don't know. There was like 2 or 3 other people on there.
Swole,
yeah. Where was that?
All the boys. That was Washington, Missouri. That was just like a little fair race, or whatever. That was kind of like my first race back. I mean, that was
a little fair race with all you dudes on the line. Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, that was just a heat race too. Like John Short, there was a bunch of other people there that you didn't even see in the photo.
Were they paying like a good payout or what?
Yeah, there was a good payout to it.
What was it?
That's what
I'm curious.
I think the total purse was like $13,000.
Holy
but I don't
shit.
know. Yeah, but like the way they broke it down, obviously I don't know all that information.
How did that go for you?
I mean, it was my very first race back, and I didn't do terrible, to be honest. Like, considering I hadn't taken off of a gate literally since Supercross, and I was taking off of dry, slick concrete dirt over a Supercross gate, or Supercross grate. Yeah, it went pretty good. I got out good starts. I mean, it was the way the track was. It was pretty dry and concrete in qualifying or practice, and then heat races, and then right after heat races were over, it poured, and then it's a concrete track with pouring rain on it. You know how that goes.
Yep, went great.
So they kind of tracked it in. We were able to race and just got out of there safe. That's the biggest thing. That's like pretty much what I did this weekend as well, is just getting gate drops.
That was my next question was, did you actually race this weekend? Because I couldn't really tell by the post at first. So
Yes. Yeah, I raced this weekend. It was good.
Sweet.
Starting to feel better throughout the motos. I mean, obviously, it's probably going to be not easy to do the end of the moto of a 30+2 on a gnarly track, considering I live in Kansas, and it's not always super easy to find gnarly tracks. But we're putting in our due diligence, our time, and we'll see what we can make happen.
Did you go to Renner's place and ride, or?
Reynolds or Raynard?
Raynard, sorry. Jesus Christ. It's been a long weekend.
Oh, I'm just playing. No, not yet. I'm actually going to be heading down to Oklahoma hopefully this week, either to ride at Game Moto or Raynard's. I don't really know what the plan is fully yet. Kind of depends on what develops tomorrow.
Sweet. Cool. That's awesome. So,
yep.
Well, sweet, man. Just wanted to call. I mean, since you didn't watch the race, we can't talk about the race. So, just want to call and get an update here. Plus, like I said, I'm flying solo on the show here. So, luckily, Scott was like, he wanted to talk for a while. So, we got a pretty decent show. And now I'm going to monologue a little bit about the race after I get off the phone with you. But yeah, so
nice.
Just wanted to check. I mean, I'm still waiting on that number plate for the studio here. That's
yeah, no joke. You're going to have to wait till after outdoors, brother. Yeah, I've got so much crap going on. But trust me, as soon as outdoors is over, that's when all the goodies will be coming.
I'll just steal one out of your...
Hey, well, I was going to say, I'll see you at Ironman, bro. I'll hook you up there.
Yeah, I know. I will. I'll steal, or I'll.
Might just have to snag it off the bike,
dude. I'm just gonna steal shit out of the van that weekend. I don't know what you're talking about. It's fine.
Hey, don't let me forget about those tires.
Shh, we're not talking about that, okay?
Yeah, I know.
We're not. That's not supposed to be on public forum here. God, Kevin, you're screwing this up for me, bro.
What do you mean, bro? They're just normal tires.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's fine, dude. Look, what tires? We're not talking about tires at all. All right. Hey, all I'm saying is when you come up for that Buck Bash event too, like, don't make sure there's nothing really important in your van because I will steal it. Okay. Like, that's just all there is to it.
What's our date on that? Do we have a date?
I don't have one yet. They were. I've been trying to talk to the guy that owns that track for a little bit here, but they had some family issues that I'll tell you about off the air. I don't really want to air their stuff out. So I was kind of backed off that a little bit here because I know we got some time because let's face it, even if we make that happen, it's not till like next April, May time. So whatever. But yeah. So I'm still in the process of working on it. I don't have any dates yet. I will see if I can get that hammered out with them before we come down to Ironman, but no promises. So all I still know is October sometime. All right.
Yeah.
So
just get it all set up. Just send your private jet out here, pick me up. We'll make it happen.
If I had one, I totally would. I'm lacking that right now. To be honest, I didn't have power for 3 days this week, so I didn't get to work for 3 days. So, like, I worked most of yesterday. I've been working some today. I'm trying to get caught up because I also have bills to be paid. And let's face it, they weren't getting paid sitting around with my thumb up my ass for 3 days with no power. So,
yeah, I feel that, brother.
Yeah, so it's been a wee bit of a mess here this week, but whatever. We're making it happen. So,
yep.
Just gonna have to put I'm gonna have to post date that check for this month. You know what I'm saying? I kid. That goes on the credit card. It's fine. Whatever. It's cool. So, yeah, man. Though we'll get that. We'll get that figured out. And yeah, outside of that, man, I may try to push to get you some stuff going from a certain person I talked to this week for Supercross for next year. I'll see what I can.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I'll see what I can make happen because I was talking to him again last night. So yeah, so we'll see.
Did my name get brought up?
I wasn't talking to him on the phone. I was talking to him through text. No, your name was not brought up, but there was some. He seems to really want to help and do some things. So we're gonna see what we can make happen, man. As I just told Scott, we're on the prowl to help as many privateers as we can.
I feel like I've got a pretty decent voice for the movement. Let's put it that way.
Let's start a movement, a revolution like Cuba. So. Yeah, if you do see your boy Faulkner this week, just make sure to tell him that, hey, bro, I got a cool dude I need you to meet in Indy.
Yeah, I got you.
So that because I need to have a chat with him. Hopefully he doesn't wad himself in first practice like he did at Redbud. That would be superb, but we'll see how it goes. So
indeed,
I'm dragging this out at this point. I should just let you go and do my monologue and get the hell off this broadcast. So, all right, bro. Well, have a safe week. Good luck with your training. thanks for picking up my call. We will
Appreciate it.
see you here in like less than 2 weeks in Indy.
Sounds good, brother.
All right. Later, bro.
All right, peace.
All right. Another privateer hero there, Kevin Moranz. So just nothing but privateer heroes on this show. And again, anyone out there, even if you're just a normal person with a normal job and you want to help out, DM these guys, get a hold of me. I can get you in contact with some of these dudes if you want to help out in some way. Every little bit helps a lot of these guys who are in their vans. Even someone like Kevin who's got his program so together. Every little bit helps. So, if you got $50, $100, whatever that you're like, yo, I want to be part of somebody's program for a weekend. You have a local race that's coming local to you, somebody in Budds Creek area, Ironman, Paula, Hangtown, whatever. Like I said, if you want to help them out, either DM them directly on Instagram. If you don't have Instagram or you don't want to do that, get a hold of me. I can probably get you in contact with a fair majority of these privateer dudes that are doing this out of their van, and we can make some stuff happen. So one thing we haven't talked a whole lot about here on this show is the Unadilla race that just happened. So obviously, I don't have anybody to talk to because Justin's not here, so I'm just going to do a little monologue. If you want to shut the show off at this point, I completely understand. I wouldn't want to listen to me monologue much either, but I am going to give some of my thoughts on the weekend here for both 250s and 450s. Won't be long here, but I'll give you guys some thoughts. So let's start with 450s. Obviously, something me and Meshey touched on, Chase Sexton. Huge first turn crash there in the first moto. He was okay. He said he had the wind knocked out of him. I was listening to, I think, the press conferences or whatever. He said he had the wind knocked out of him, and it took him a few minutes to catch his breath, and he thought he had a broken rib. But props to that guy for absolutely wadding his shit in front of everyone in that first corner to then get up and fight through the pack, and he got 11th place in that first moto, which to me was super impressive on a track where there wasn't a lot of passing, there wasn't a lot of line options, because obviously if you watch the broadcast, as I've said, it was pretty boring, probably one of the most boring pro nationals I've watched this year, because it was typical Unadilla, which turned into rut cross. But for him to get up and make passes and get back to 11th, I thought that was a great ride for him and really showed some grit and determination in that first moto. Second moto, again, we see him come out. He gets the whole shot and ends up second. I don't think anyone really doubted that Kenny was going to get him there when Kenny came out of that first corner in like third place or whatever. Kenny was on it all day, and we'll get to him in just a second. But really, I thought a great gritty ride for Sexton in the first moto, and then a great ride in the second moto, coming off that win at Washougal. I mean, realistically, if he doesn't eat it in that first moto, he probably ends up podium both motos and on the box for the overall. So I think he is trending in the upward direction at this point. I know he started off the year really strong there at that first moto in Paula, and then has kind of had issues rolling through the rest of the year, and it hasn't been as great as we all thought until Washougal, where he won. But I think he's trending in the right direction to finish the season strong. So that was good to see. Aaron Plessinger, man, heart goes out for that guy. Having a absolutely killer day there, that first moto, qualified second, which, as Weege said in the practice broadcast, never happens for him. He's not a qualifying guy. If he's in like the top 12 in qualifying, he feels like he did really well. And man, he was right. He was right on Kenny, keeping him honest. And then I don't know what happened with that loop out. I did see on Instagram right before I started recording the show that he has a bruised lung and a bruised liver. He's feeling okay. He's fine as far as for the most part goes. He's still alive. Nothing crazy. So he will be back for Budds, I assume. But man, just a gnarly crash. Like that loop out was gnarly. You loop out hard when you get completely airborne, and that bike just body slammed him into the ground. And like, I've seen a lot of dudes loop out with my stunt riding history. You see people do it all the time. If you loop out hard enough like that, where the bike is completely off the ground, you're completely off the ground, and it body slams you, it's a bad day, no matter who you are. So, can't wait to see him. If I had to predict anything, and put money on something, I would say watch out for AP in Indiana. For some reason at Indiana, because AP is that's his local race, we'll call it. He does really, really good at Indiana, whether it's Supercross or outdoors. So would not surprise me to see him win an overall at the Indiana race in a couple of weeks. Okay. Next up, let's talk about Ken Roczen. Domination. And I said to myself as I was sitting there watching the race before the race started, I said, if Kenny doesn't even beat Dylan both motos today, this title is over. Well, Kenny went out, went 1-1, did exactly what he needed to do. I don't know if it's just Unadilla. Obviously, like we said back in 2019 when we raced there, Kenny did really, really well. Again, dominated in 2019, dominated yesterday. So we'll see going into Budds Creek. Again, he's an enigma. You just don't know what you're going to get. He can go 1-1, and you're like, yeah, I expected that. He could go 10-10, and you're like, yeah, doesn't surprise me either. So we'll see when we get to Budds. If he has another solid day like this at Budds, it might make the end of the year here really interesting. He cut into that points lead. Obviously, Dylan had some issues. The second moto still ended up on the box, but still, there at least was multiple points between him and Kenny in the second moto. So Kenny's now got it down to, I think, like 39 or something. So still a ways off. But you figure if he cuts about 10 points every round, all of the sudden, we are getting very, very close. So you have something little happen, like Dylan, has a couple tip overs or something, gets like a 5th or 6th, and Kenny wins. You could start seeing things get really interesting. Will it? Probably not. I mean, statistics would show that Dylan is really, really good, and I think his worst has been a 5th this year. I don't think he's been any worse than that. So yeah, statistics would show that he's probably going to wrap this up, but at least it gives us something to talk about at this point. Speaking of Dylan, I give that guy 100% props. As committed to racing as he is, as solid at racing as he is, the honesty that first moto, after getting second place to Kenny, and Kenny walked away from him, like it wasn't close. The honesty from Dylan to get on the podium and be like, I'm okay with second place today because I have nothing for Kenny at this track. Like, nothing. That really turned me on to Dylan, made me like him a little bit more. I like his commitment and everything to the sport as far as it goes at this point, because he's literally just like he literally is just like, I'm a motocross guy. But for him to get on that podium in front of everyone and on national TV and just say, I don't have anything for him today. Like, I'm okay with second place because I don't have anything for him. I thought that was awesome. I thought that was a real stand-up move. And, makes me definitely like him a little bit more going forward. Cooper Webb will be the last person I touch on for 450s here. I thought he had a really good day as far as Cooper Webb goes for outdoors this year, with as bad as he's been struggling. 5.5 for 5th overall. I thought that was really good for Coop. I thought it's a step in the right direction. I'm sure they did a ton of testing on this time off. He was probably not out on the beach somewhere like everyone else. So good on Cooper Webb, and maybe we'll see him start battling for some podiums finishes here by the end of the year. So moving on to 250s. Justin Cooper, 2 hole shots. That was awesome. Kind of expected, but that was awesome. Wins that first moto going away. I mean, just hammer down. There was no one touching him that first moto. Then you get to the second moto, and it's kind of like, what happened? He did say in the press conference that the track was super sketchy, which it was. I mean, deep-ass ruts, rut cross basically, pick your rut, stay in it, try to jump from rut to rut. But still, it was super interesting for him to lose. I mean, and we'll go to this, and they touched on it in the broadcast, to have Jet win that second moto and Cooper get 4th, and basically Cooper lost a whole minute of time on that second moto. It's an interesting thing. You don't usually see that kind of movement as far as time goes. It usually is like, oh, he gets second or third, and he's off by 20 seconds, 30 seconds because it's outdoors. To lose a full minute, that's a lot. For Jet to gain a full minute is a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong. It wasn't like Jet was slacking that first moto. He went 2-1 on the day, got the overall. That's great. First time he's won a moto since Redbud. First time he's really like showed some domination here in the last few rounds because let's face it, Washougal was not good for him. Where else were we in between there? Shoot, now I'm blanking. I don't remember. Anyway, but he hasn't been great. So it was good to see him do that. We're down to 4 points in this title. This title is going to be really close. I am pulling for Jet strictly because I'm a Jet person. I'm a huge Jet fan. But man, that's gonna be the title that I think is gonna really come down to the final round. It's gonna be awesome to watch. That being said, teammates to Justin Cooper, J Mart there. He had an okay day, 3-2. I just think with how ruddy, square edge, the roost, all that kind of stuff, and with J Mart having the issues that he does, I'm sure he's healed somewhat over this 3-week break. I'm sure he wasn't doing a whole lot of testing or anything like that. But 3-2, just kind of flat on the day, just kind of there. Don't get me wrong. I still think at the end of the year, I honestly thought J Mart had a run at this title had he gone out and gone 1-1 yesterday. Going out and going 3-2 behind the two guys that he's basically battling for the title. I think J Mart's going to end up third in this title now. There's just not enough rounds left. There's 4 left, which is still a lot of racing, and a lot of things can happen, especially in this class. But I just don't see him there would have to be so much happen to both those dudes for him to get close enough to make it interesting in the last round. I think he's just going to be a solid third place guy. I still think he's going to win more motos before the year's over. I think you're going to see him at Buds. I think you're going to see him at Indiana. I think you're going to see him out in California at the end of the year here do well. But not title contention at this point. So a couple other mentions on the day here for the 250 class. Max Volan, I thought that was a really good day going 6.5. You're talking about a kid that's never been to this track, which anyone will tell you, Unadilla is a special kind of track. It's different. The dirt's different. It breaks down different than mostly any other place. But I thought 6.5 on the day was really, really solid for Volan. I mean, you're talking about a kid that everyone's given so much shit to about why did KTM sign him. He started his pro career too early. He didn't even race, A class. He didn't even race B class, I don't think. I mean, you're talking a kid that got just shit on for all of this. And then I was somewhat of a believer in him. In Supercross, he did okay till he broke his femur or whatever, or dislocated his hip. That was what it was. And then now you've had him in outdoors, and man, it's like that first moto at Paula. He's leading, till his bike lets go. All sorts of cool stuff like that. This kid has a lot of promise. I'm almost like 100% sure he's got a 3-year deal. And the first year here, they were just like, dude, just get through it. Like, just go out and ride, learn all the tracks, kind of learn how you're doing. And I think that's what he's doing. And I think he's doing a great job of it. I mean, you're talking 6.5. I think he was 5th overall for the day. That to me if I'm KTM, that's a great day for him as far as a 250 ride goes for someone that it's like, just do it. We just need you to be on the track doing it. So good job for Volan. Last person I want to touch on, coming out of Loretta's here, and we'll talk a little bit of Loretta's here before I stop. Coming out of Loretta's here is Levi Kitchen, 12.7 on the day. I mean, realistically, that's kind of where I see him for the rest of this year. The kid is fast. He definitely has some maturity, especially some athletic maturity with being 20 compared to like these 16, 17-year-old kids. But again, you have to think of the guys that beat him, and you got to look at who is he beating? I mean, you've got Justin Cooper. You've got, let's just go with the 7th place finish. So you have Justin Cooper, Jeremy Martin, Jet Lawrence, Hunter Lawrence, RJ Hampshire. I mean, and then the list goes on to that 12th place finish. Who do you see him beating out of those guys? I mean, these guys are all outside of Jet because he's a rookie, but he's, shout out to Daniel Blair, generational talent. Outside of that, who do you see him beating? I mean, yes, the kid is good. He is super good on a dirt bike, but he's not generational. He's just good and on arguably the best bike in the class. So I think that was a great ride for him. He even said it after the Redbud race that he did. Like, he could not believe the pace that these guys keep for 30 minutes and how long the motos are. And this goes back to, if no one has listened to it, you need to go listen to Whiskey Throttle with the Lawrence brothers. They tell their whole story. It's an awesome podcast. They also talk about amateur motocross in the States and how shitty it is compared to Europe. So go listen to that, because we don't prep these kids right for going into pros. So again, I think that was a good day for Levi. If I'm Star Yamaha, I'm like, great job. You didn't get hurt. You went in, you rode it. You know, we're in the top 10 the second moto. I think he was in the top 10 overall. Great job, buddy. Like, good first race. Let's move on to Buds and let's do it again. So shout out to that. And that's pretty much all I have as far as Unadilla goes. Now, we also, while we were on the break here, we had Loretta's. Now, I do kind of watch / listen to a lot of Loretta's because I'm in the shop, so I can have it on my headphones and kind of listen and watch some of the motos. Kitchen, obviously, was a force at Loretta's. I mean, he crashed multiple times, won every single moto, won the 250 and the 450 Pro Sport, which we all kind of expected. I mean, to be really honest, that kid should have gone pro at Paula, or Fox Raceway 1, whatever you want to call it. He should have gone pro to start outdoors. I'm 100% against starting these guys' pro career in Supercross. They should all start their pro career for outdoors, but the year they go pro, they should not race Loretta's and then do the stuff afterwards. If you're ready to go pro, especially as ready as Kitchen was, you should have just raced the whole series. I know it's probably more to do with Star than with him, but still, he should have raced the whole series. So not a surprise. Horizon Award winner. Again, that's not a surprise. Not a surprise that he won 250 and 450 Pro Sport. But yeah, that's just something that I noticed. Chance Hymas, I thought he had a really, really good week. The interesting thing is, it's kind of like one of the best, worst kept secrets in moto. He did, from what I understand, and again, this is not, I haven't heard this directly from anyone's mouth, but I've heard it many a times from many people who should know. He did sign with Honda, and I honestly think this is the biggest mistake that Kawasaki could make. Hymas is 100 times better than Jet Reynolds and Ryder D. I mean, you saw, I believe it was Jet. Yeah, Jet for Loretta's here. It was not a good week for him. He was almost irrelevant as far as I'm concerned. And I watched those Pro Sport motos, almost irrelevant. He's got another year. He's gonna do amateurs, I believe, because he hasn't gone pro yet. But man, he cannot stay off the ground and not get hurt, and B, he has just lost 10 steps. Now you have someone like Hymas. He's a young kid. He actually, I think he's the youngest kid in A class at this point for we'll call it the national level of A class. And man, he hangs with Kitchen. Now granted, Kitchen just wiped the floor with everyone at Loretta's. Again, not a surprise. But then you've got Hymas, who's leaving Kawasaki. So how hard was he really trying, especially if he's got the deal signed, sealed, delivered already with Honda HRC? I don't know. I'm interested to see him on a Honda. I'm pumped for Honda to have picked him up because I think that kid is the next kid coming out of the A class here after Kitchen. So I think once you put him on the Honda, he's on a team where he actually has a future, we'll call it here. I think you're going to see some really, really good things come out of him next year. I don't know if he's going to be on the Honda before the end of the year. Like, I don't know if we'll see him at like Mini-O's on the Honda. I really hope we do. But we'll see. It's pretty much, from what I understand, signed, sealed, delivered, done. He is going to Honda HRC for the 250. So we'll just see all in due time. I don't know if he's going to do another year or 2 years. But, I mean, the development the kid's going to have racing A-Class for another year, if not 2 years, is going to be insane. Because I'm not sure he's 16 yet. I think he's only 15, maybe 14. I'm not 100% sure. To be really honest, I'm not 100% sure how old he is. But I know he's young. He's young. He's the youngest that you can be in A class. So maybe it is 16. I don't know. But you give him a couple more years to develop. I mean, when he's already one of the top dudes, so you let him develop that athletic maturity there in A class in the amateurs, and then have him go pro when he's, say, 18, 19, 20, like Kitchen's doing. The dude is going to be a force as far as I'm concerned. So I'm interested to see how he shakes up. Jet Reynolds. Speaking of Jet, I do have a note here because I wrote some stuff down while I was listening to it. He did crash at Loretta's and broke a collarbone. So there you go. Just another example of Kawasaki making the wrong decision with their amateur program. So yeah, it's amazing how the mighty have fallen and how it's gone from, you wanted to be on that team green PC bike, and now it's like everybody wants to be on the Star team. I'll be interested to see what Honda does moving forward here with Hymus, because obviously, like I said, they're going to put Hymus on a bike here as an amateur. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that since there's no Geico anymore. But I don't see... Jet Reynolds made a big splash on mini bikes, and ever since he's gone to big bikes, it's been kind of ugh. So I don't see much coming out of Jet. All right, let's talk about there's two more big stories. Number one, we'll talk about Hayden Deegan. Wins the Super Mini title. Everyone's kind of like, why is he still racing Super Minis? Well, he is of age to race Super Minis, and he's not a huge kid. But man, that one crash he had I don't think it was a Super Mini race. Was it something else? 85 maybe? I don't know. It was the first moto. That crash he had with the kid on the Kawasaki, which I'm sorry, I don't remember his name. I only wrote down so much. Completely his fault. Fucking with that kid while he was passing him instead of just going by and going to the front and then screwing up and not being able to take that jump and getting landed. Like, just fucking stupid. If you want a good video that breaks it down, Johnny Hopper has a video where he breaks the whole video down. It's really good. He points out everything that Deegan does wrong there. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. No, Deegan's already got a signed, sealed, delivered contract. As far as I know, he's going to Star Yamaha, which isn't a surprise. The reason he goes to Star, and let me explain this to people because I know a lot of people are going to be like, no, he's going to stay on KTM. He just dropped the video with the KTM 250. It's all smoke and mirrors, people. He's going to go to Yamaha strictly for the fact of he's too tied in with Monster. If he wasn't as tied in with Monster, he would not go to Yamaha. He would probably go to KTM, to be really honest with you. But his tie-in with Monster is huge. I mean, they had all the Monster guys out to do a video shoot for a commercial to their house where they literally built a Supercross finish line, brought the whole setup out. Like, Tomac was there, Stewart was there, Sexton was there, and he's doing this jump too for the Super. I mean, it's just wild. But like I said, he's so tied in with Monster that's where he is going to end up landing. So that's how that's going to go. I will literally completely admit I'm wrong and be shocked, like jaw on the floor, if he announces that he signed with someone and it is not Star Yamaha. But like I said, he did win one title, which is good for him. It really doesn't matter at this point. He is his dad's such a marketing genius, and he has built such a brand around that kid that kid could be a fifth place Loretta's kid, and he's still going to probably get a factory ride strictly for the amount of clout that he has. Because let's face it, anything you do with the Deegans is going to bring a shit ton of eyeballs and a shit ton of money. So in all honesty, it's like Jay said on Gypsy Tales, they don't even need to actually sign with a factory team. They could probably make more money if they would just do their own thing. With that being said, I don't think Brian wants to keep doing all of this forever. I think his goal is to get that kid as good as possible, get him on a factory team, and then sit back and kind of be like, fuck yeah, we made it. And I think he really wants him on a factory team because he wants to be able to be like, look, guys, I made it. I mean, you're talking about a dude that used to race, and he could barely get a set of handlebars, his own words. He could barely get a company to give him a set of handlebars. And so if he can take his kid and market him enough and put him on a factory team, boom, bingo, bango, done. So one other thing to talk about. We're going to talk about our only vet class of the weekend, or of the week from Loretta's. And what I really want to touch on is Rhino. Riding that 86 Honda CR250, fucking awesome. I mean, just epicness. They went and tested like Tuesday morning at a track because he rode practice Monday. It didn't go well. Now, that being said, There are some controversy and some rumors flying around out there about him racing it. So supposedly, if you pay attention to Rhino, you saw him at all his regionals and everything. He was riding a new CRF 450. Supposedly Honda had gave it to him, and the deal was he was supposed to go to Loretta's and ride the 450. He, at the last second, decided that he was going to ride the 86 CR250. Awesome move from a marketing point of view for himself, because let's face it, everyone loves old two-strokes. In fact, it makes me want to get an old 80s, like late 80s CR250 to redo for the channel, which keep an eye out because we do have a CR125 build coming up at some point here. But anyway, so awesome on his part for the marketing aspect, for the social media aspect of it. But from my understanding, there's a rumor flying around that the reason he did it is because he was not quite sure that he could actually beat Mike Brown heads up on 450s. So if he rode the bike, if he rode the CR250, he could then not have to worry about results. And now he put out on his thing like, oh man, didn't want to take it too seriously, blah blah blah. Okay, maybe. This is one of those carrot ear conspiracy theory things. If you ask me, as competitive of a guy as Rhino is, I have a hard time believing he did that so that he wouldn't have to feel competitive or wouldn't have to take it too seriously. I 100% think he did it because he looked at himself and thought, man, I really don't know if I can beat Mike Brown, which there's nothing wrong with that, okay? Mike Brown spends all day, every day training. He has literally not stopped since he was a pro. The dude is still fast, probably one of only a few vet guys, and I mean, I put him in a very small group with like guys like John Gruey, etc., that could still go out and qualify for a national, in my opinion. However, I've heard Honda might not be so happy with him because he was supposed to ride the 450 because they gave him the 450. I don't know. Comment down below with what you think. But it's just an interesting topic to talk about. Was he ducking Mike Brown? Was he not ducking Mike Brown? I don't know. So, all right. And that's pretty much all I have for this episode of the Moto Aftermath Show, presented by TLR Coatings, BC.Pizza, and Premier Custom Trailers. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like, subscribe, like I said, comment down below. Make sure to go give our privateer boys, Scott Meshey and Kevin Moranz, a follow. Help them out wherever you can. Again, if you guys want to donate to a privateer, either contact them directly through DMs or, like I said, hit me up. I can make connections happen for you guys to help them out. We're going to come out with some stuff here for 2022 that I think is going to be able to really blow the door open here for helping out some privateers, so make sure to keep an eye out for that. Make sure to hit up all our sponsors, links in the description below if you want to support us like on a monetary level. We do have a Patreon, which I'm working on some ideas and some ways to do some more stuff around Patreon. There's Amazon links in the description. There's merch links in the description. All that stuff's down there, so if you guys want to help us out that way, no problem. If you have a company you want to sponsor, hit me up, DM me something. We can chat. We do all sorts of levels of sponsorship, so you don't have to even give a lot if you guys want to help us out here. Outside of that, like I said, me and Justin will be at Ironman in a couple of weeks. He will be here next week for the show, supposedly. We'll see. This is the first time he's bailed in a long time, so I'm giving him some leeway. I'm not going to cut him too much shit here while we're on the show, but whatever. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to Scott and Kevin for helping us fill the show here with some stuff that's not just me talking. And we will be back Thursday with a fantasy show from Buds. So everybody pay attention to that. And then we will be back next week wrapping up Buds. We have somebody on next week. Who do I have? Oh, Darkside's coming back on the show. That's it. Darkside will be on the Buds Creek show. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see everybody later.